Sword of omens, give me sight beyond sight.
What I have in mind is a 1-minute rip, do the named tricks in a flow without a cut. 3 tricks. We're going to do a power loop, we're going to do some rewinds, and we're going to do an inverted yaw swing.
day is it?
It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Thumbs up. Ready, guys? Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins. Oh my God! I just
All right. Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to this week's B2P. Thank you for joining us. Before we get rolling, we wanted to shout out the pilot of the week, the one PDevX. I hope I'm saying that right. PDevX, right? PDevX. Right. Fucking shout out PDevX, pilot of the week. Let's see. I don't have anything really this week. Birthdays. Let's see. We got happy birthday to Velcro. New York City pilot. Fucking fast whooper. One of the fastest I've seen back in the day. He hasn't flown a bit, I don't think. Aside from that, we got, dude, Dominic Clifton, the father of Clean Flight. Happy birthday, Dom. A fucking really fast whooper right now, and if you haven't seen him, I highly recommend you check him out. The one and only AK FPV. AK, happy birthday! And last but not least, we got Beans.
Beans.
All right, and per usual, shout out to Risco and WALDOH. Let's get into this jam. What's good? What's good in the chat? Oh shit. Are you speaking already?
Maybe.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
I saw
Did
lips
you hear me
moving, but
now?
we
Might
didn't.
be.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Trying
This thing
to.
on.
What
Can
up?
you hear me now?
Bing, bing, bing,
I think
bing,
I hear
bing.
a Perry
This thing
Earl.
on.
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
We're at the top.
Daddy, are we there yet?
The elevator made it to the top.
Yeah, we had an
Love it.
extension of the building, so it took a little longer to get there.
You gotta take a sky bridge.
Started at the bottom, now we're here.
You gotta hide yourself in the Narnia closet to come out the closet too for the B2P.
Who came out of the closet? You did? Good for
Everybody
you.
has a
Pride Month.
B2P.
It is Pride Month.
Everybody.
Go, man.
Go Tech.
Go tag, man. I'm proud of you, brother.
What the fuck? What the
He's
hell?
in his Tokyo closet
Again,
over there.
Kyoto. I give these guys some Brando water, and these guys, I don't know, they're
Changes
up to
things.
something. Don't know what it is. I give them the finest
Shots of
stuff.
Brando water all around.
What's up, Maddie? Going
Brando,
down.
I don't usually give everybody a tetanus shot, but drink
Today.
Brando water and be thirsty, my friend.
Oh shit! I'm a space cadet. Next week, make sure you don't miss it. We got CJ FPV coming in for an interview. We're looking forward to that one.
Oh, shit.
Next week. Dude, does it feel like the air horns are extra loud today? I don't know why.
Yes, they are.
My ears say yes.
Yes, right?
Yes.
Something is wrong
Yeah, the
there.
entire intro video was way louder.
It just
Yeah.
feels like everything is at fuck you ears.
Let me just
volume.
look at something really quick.
Don't look too hard.
No.
Let me see if this works.
I'm just
Probably a
checking.
knob.
Burn.
We had
Like,
so
What's
many
going on, Rickinson?
we had so many fucking problems last week. No, there's no knob for that. That's
Lies.
Turn it
he
down
lies.
from 11 back to
no.
10.
Like a
There's no
knife.
We
such
don't need
thing.
no Spinal Tap
Put your
11.
heel
Yes,
like down.
Final tap.
Thank you.
Let me just open up the Stream Deck app really quick. Here, you can see my Stream Deck app. You guys see it? Pretty cool. And these are like, look, we
Show us your.
got Sean the
screen
Don
grab.
down here.
Infinity.
We got Waldo over
us your
here. We got Game of Quad. We got the fucking Troll Guy. We got Zorro here. We got the Thundercats. Yeah, that's how Stream Deck looks. Oh shit! I just completely. Oh, there it is. Yeah, air horn sound. What is
I
wrong
wonder where
with
the
you?
OnlyFans
Turned
sounds
down
are.
for what?
Yo, turned down for what? That's right.
For the love of my
Yo,
ears.
but some of these are right. But the air horn is jacked.
RZ in the house. What up?
What up,
man?
RZ?
Maddie's here to chew bubble gum and win game of quad, and he's all out of bubble gum.
Dang.
He wasn't even in Game of
and he's
Quad.
not in game of quad.
Now it's solo in the house. Wrecking
What up,
stuff.
RZ?
What's going on?
What's up, RZ?
He's in there
Juan
by
Soto. Yo, fucking. Twans for the
Nobody-
chat.
Nobody votes for game of quad, so it'll be a tie, and then Maddie can be on the wheel with it. and win.
I mean, at least want to put Chuck Norris into the equation to get.
Well, yeah,
Maddie,
Chuck Norris, I guess that's the only
Yeah,
two.
give
Chuck
Maddie a running
Norris.
start. 'Cause
Yo,
I
you know what's
heard
even
that-
extra fucked up though? I gotta just say this really quick. You know what's extra fucked up?
Tell us, Shab,
The
what's
fuck
up?
on the Mac, you
Thomas.
can't actually turn up and down the master on some like when you use the Astro A50s, it just locks the volume because it's a digital connection, and then your application just controls its volume, right? So I don't, so I can never change that. You know what I'm saying? Like I can never change that. Like the only thing I can
Masuda.
actually change physically is my input gain to my microphone, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Chad's
Basuda,
grumbles.
throw it out
My
garbage.
grumbles. So, well, if in case you guys don't know, I am a grumpy old sound guy from many years, and yes, I could definitely have some grumbles about sound. But last week was fun because we had all sorts of fun. So,
Technical issues,
Hey, but we
video
made it.
issues.
but that was weird.
Now we're here.
So, and then Artie's camera exploded within the last
Yeah,
couple
it
days,
decided to die.
and then
No, I don't know about die, but
not
it
dead.
just looks like pixelated bukkake.
You know what? Yeah, Big Pig. You know what happened was the camera couldn't adjust for the ugliness. So I just finally just gave out.
Didn't know
So,
cameras had a middle
FaceTime.
finger, but
Bro, you would even-
apparently Artie's does.
Right
no,
to me.
no one would ever see tech though. I mean, I'm just saying.
No.
Nobody knows.
Nobody.
If we didn't have that damn decoder ring, we couldn't hear him either.
Right?
Certainly not
Luckily-
understand him.
Luckily we got that special filter.
I have to take special anti-stroke medicine
Shout
every
out to
week
Google.
before the show to make sure I don't have a stroke. Try to
Google
determine.
Translate.
Try to
Need a
fucking
dark web
decipher.
To fix my issues. Well, that new quantum computer that's being released by Google might solve all our answers. But then again, if I talk into it, it just might crash.
Would you like to know more?
Would you like to know? We definitely need to nick that. Would you like to know more?
Right.
We like to know more. Was that from
Starship Troopers.
Starship Trooper? That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
First one was okay. After that was just
Yo,
straight.
little fun fact. So you watch Stranger Things?
Yeah.
You watch the latest one?
Hey, by the way, hold on. Before you go any further, I watched all Obi-Wan yesterday.
Oh, I watched it
What
earlier today.
What about season finale?
I didn't. Is that out now?
Today.
Yeah.
Last night.
Oh fuck!
I watched it at 3 a.m.
Oh, that's all I'm gonna say is, bro.
Yo.
I haven't seen it yet.
All right.
last
Before
one,
you derail my derailment, fucking, I just want, since you mentioned Starship Troopers and since Stranger Things is fucking actually relevant, I guess today. Yo, you know the little cheerleader, Chrissy that gets. Well, actually, I won't say any more than that. The cheerleader, Chrissy.
Yes.
That's dude's daughter. That's fucking Rico's daughter.
Get out of here.
No, straight up. That's whatever Van Dien, Chrissy Van Dien, I think is her name.
Well,
That's
you know
Casper Van
Robin?
Dien. That's Rico in Starship Troopers.
Wait,
But you know
which
the girl
girl?
Robin?
The cheerleader in the latest
last
season
season.
4 of Stranger Things. It's out currently.
Oh.
The one that was in the first
Stranger
X amount of
Things?
episodes.
Yeah, and you know
I don't
want
wanna say any more.
No, you know
That's-
the girl Robin.
Oh,
the one that
yeah.
works at the ice cream shop.
That's
Hey,
Ethan Hawke's
hey.
daughter. But anyways,
She's daughter to the girl that played Resident Evil.
Ethan Hawke's daughter. That's
Ethan
fucking
G.O.K.
Oh,
Ethan
wow.
Hawke. Yeah, that's Ethan Hawke's daughter.
Yeah,
Knox daughter.
Nox.
But yeah,
Nice.
Well, I think next week there's a volume 2 of Stranger Things.
July something, first week of July. I don't remember exactly what the date was.
Yeah. Finally, and then we get
I
one
still
more
got to
season.
catch up on that one. Hadn't started that one yet.
God, humanity. You gotta catch up on it. And
Hey,
watch
look,
the last
man, I
season
got
of Kenobi.
Obi-Wan in, man. That was a lot of fucking laundry.
Yo, Stranger Things. I don't know if the chat's following Stranger Things, but that's a fucking crazy long. This season was crazy long. But anyways, we're talking about drones. I
mean, they do show drone shots in the first season. Does that count?
Yes.
It has to.
Well, they show a lot of drone scenes when they showing Hawkins laboratory where they experiments. See a lot of drone
Yeah,
shots.
they do some drone shots. Yeah.
And I believe a few years ago, a few guys actually flew the facility. I think it's not even. I think it's located. The facility is located in Georgia. I guess the hospital where 7 was 11
definitely
was made. Yeah,
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven. Anyways, we're talking about drones.
Hawkins.
Having a good time talking about drones.
I missed that podcast so much.
Between that,
I
the
missed that,
FTV
actually.
show, and
That podcast was
eating
the best.
danky wings.
it was the best. Yeah, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes.
It's like 15 or
It
so.
was short, man.
Short.
Chad was
Yeah.
on there once.
Yeah.
I love that show. That's a fun show.
Which show?
World's Greatest Drone Pilots.
That
Yeah.
was Bob Grinder and
I was
Wombat.
one.
It was-
PP soccer, doo-doo barefoot.
Yo, shout out the fucking Wombat and Bot.
Speaking of, is there
Extra
any
nonsense.
other like shows that y'all remember, like people got together that y'all liked a lot that was FPV related, not Stranger Things or Obi-Wan related?
Wait, what?
I said, is
I
there any
liked,
other like FPV show is one for me, and obviously the greatest drone pilots.
I liked Chad Novak's podcast that he did for a couple of years.
Yeah, that one was dope.
Also, you got Ruben Hattigi.
Yeah, I
Fail
still
Safe.
listen to that one every week or every month, or lately it's been every week though.
Yeah,
he's
they've been doing,
popping.
but they've been doing it on YouTube now too. as
Also,
well.
with the Team Fail
Dead
Safe
Band.
podcast with him,
Mhm.
Nasty, and Steel.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Dead Band. Shout out to Gravy.
They go out to rants. I'm surprised you don't show up around here somewhere. He will.
Shout out UFDA crew and the shit show.
The shit show was
RIP.
I loved my majority of the time of the shit show. Yeah, that fucking, I miss the shit.
He misses the shit.
I do.
The shites. John Solo switching over to his PC. That means he's done doing remote vlogging with his only solos page.
Only solos.
Only solos.
I mean, every time John Solo's here, we can talk about Star Wars, right? I mean,
Absolutely
relevant.
He's one with the Force. Shit, we could talk about Star Wars.
I mean,
all night
Star
long.
Wars is FPV related because a lot of us started flying FPV because of Star Wars.
with the weird
Star
TIE
Wars.
fighters.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Hey, y'all see Star Wars?
Listen,
I would say a transition to Spanish, but it's the same shit. Star Wars.
Darth Vader himself has no words.
I still want a speeder.
Me too.
I want to build a
Yeah.
pod racer, bro. I'm serious. I want
I
to get a
still
bunch.
want a Back to the Future 2 hoverboard. Damn it!
Yeah,
I
we
actually
should
had-
Still
get
waiting.
real.
I actually had the skateboard version of it back in the day.
Oh, you did not. Shut up.
Yeah, it was a skateboard. It's just regular.
Yeah, it was
shit
just a
on
pink
the board.
skateboard. They sold that shit.
Yeah, no, but the
Believe
one I
me,
had was shaped
I
like
wanted
it was
one
shaped-
real
I
bad.
I
bet.
had one, yeah.
They
He just had a
also
pink
had one in
skateboard
the
and
like.
he
I
pretended.
can't remember who else had it, but in CCS, I remember back in the day. CCS, I can't remember what company did it, but they had the artwork on just a normal board, and I used to always want that shit.
Hmm.
I used to
Yeah,
always
that was-
want the Steve Caballero Powell Peralta boards
Oh, that mother.
because he had the
Yeah.
dragon that was
Oh,
all
yeah,
cool
yeah.
looking.
Stuff.
I had the official one with the skull.
I was really
I don't think I ever had that cat. Wait,
Alien Workshop. I wanted an Alien Workshop board. and I
my
got it.
first Santa Cruz was the OG Fat Boy Rob Roscop face print in blue and black.
Mm.
Yep. That was-
I had a Kevin Staub.
And I had a
That
Gator
was
before he got
the
arrested.
Vision Gator.
Yeah, Gator was my jam.
Nice.
I always wanted a pair of Vision streetwear shoes, and I never got them as a kid. I heard they remade them though recently.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing.
Unfortunately, my neck of the woods, being a poser skateboard is the end thing. So now people are treating like Vans and Converse like they were Jordans. And I looked at them, it's like they're meant to be rocked out, not just treat them like they're gold.
Oh yeah, those Dragoneers. LED on quad equals Star Wars.
Exactly.
No, but seriously, I want to get a bunch of fucking. This fucking Jack Bear built his little EDF quad, kind of similar to the.
EDM quad?
EDF, dude.
It
EDM
is.
quad's got lasers and fucking subwoofers on it.
It drops.
Just
I
goes
don't- I'm gonna
fucking.
I need my stay on target sample. I do have this one though.
Bullshit.
Anyways,
He called it.
fucking. Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw that. Jack Bear, Wendell's fucking fan quad, his jet quad. Did you see that?
I recall seeing it, but I don't remember it.
I don't.
What, the EDF quad?
Well, did you see Quad Movers version where he stuck the 4 fucking EDFs on a fucking on a quad frame basically?
We
It was
showed the
crazy.
video on the cast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did show it back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remembered, but
My memory is a sheet.
yeah, no
Yeah,
shit.
it's okay.
I may have found some ground footage of a quad that was definitely not mine, that was definitely not being flown by me, that had a sparkler duct taped to it on like New Year's Eve or 4th of July or something. Just
I'm just curious if anybody
Tinkerbell
else.
on crack.
I was just curious if anybody else had fucked with fucking EDF systems at all, because Wendell's done some. I know Quad Mover's done some, but I have a pretty strong theory that we could build pod racers out of ducted systems and jet them down, similar to how a Harrier vents down thrust, basically duct some of the thrust downwards like a Harrier, to just give us enough lift. And if you use some sort of optical flow sensor, some sort of sensor to just read your distance from the ground, right? You could totally program a flight controller to be like, stay right at 3 feet. And then basically jet just enough fucking force downwards to keep you there, right? For the most part, right? And then everything else backwards, like a fucking pod racer, man. And you could build it out. Like, I really think we could do it. I can't believe nobody has done it. People have made pod racers, but they've used like quad frames and just used standard shit. But I'm like, why hasn't somebody really like gotten some crazy 48 volt ducted fan thing and just, some crazy turbine like they put on the model jets and like, you know what I mean? Like build something.
They're like helium based balloons and you kind of just fly.
Nobody wants to fuck with gas, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
That's the ones I've seen.
What?
That's the ones I've seen. There's like, they literally shape the paws in the front like a
Little balloon? Yeah, I've seen some crap like that. That's not what we, no, I'm talking like fucking. What is a Harrier is old technology, right? And all it is a jet engine with ducting, basically.
Late 50s, early 60s.
Right.
Harry's when it first got released.
I couldn't imagine somebody couldn't figure this out and putting it out there. I'd love to see it. I think that would be a rad fucking thing to work, like, to figure out. Because all you need is
That would be. You should do it.
like somebody give me the money and I will.
All right, y'all heard him. Throw some money at him.
Fucking somebody want, because like, what are you're gonna drop $200-300 per turbine, and you're gonna probably want, I'm guessing 4 of them, 2 per pod. That way you can use the front one for your primary down thrust needs and the rear one for forward.
I mean, in theory, it should work.
Right. Totally. And I think that if you had a sensor that could just tell it how much, like, you need some way to basically valve or control. You're going to use some thrust vectoring, right? Which is doable. People do it currently, right? You probably use a little bit of vectoring, but yeah, fucking, you just need like to be able to flow control your down thrust.
Said thrust vectoring on crack.
Yeah, dude. It'd be so sick. Cause like if you had, and I think with turbines, that would be the way. Seriously. Cause if you could like, especially if you could intake, like build a turbocharger on the input, you know what I mean? Basically build a fucking turbo, the fucking force air intake and thrust down. And then have some way to valve it or basically flow control it, and then a sensor that's basically, or 2, that's reading your distance from the ground and fucking that's basically dictating how much thrust to put down. And that's it. Then you lock yourself at an altitude, but now, like I said, you can take all your remaining energy for forward momentum and turning.
I mean, they've done it with RC Harriets already. I'm actually watching a video right now.
Yeah, I know.
Just hovering. Yeah,
well, you know, but an RC Harrier, I don't know if there's is there a flight controller in the Harrier? And they're probably not using any kind of autonomy. You would need a bit of autonomy to do this, what I'm saying, because you need to be able to tell it, I want to stay whatever X amount of feet off the ground. Altitude. Yeah, that's the whole point of the pod racer. It's got to be able to stay like so high, right? Maybe you could go up and down. Maybe there's some way to like you could give yourself a range, like
a souped up version of what like the sensors that are on the DJI drones or something, like proximity sensors.
I mean they've been doing it in our RG Pilot with Pixhawks for ages. Like it's you don't have to but yes, it is the same shit. Great, it's similar tech, but you don't have to go fancy really. You just need a couple what's called an optical flow sensor. Like a lot of Pixhawks and things like that can totally utilize those. And then thrust vectoring on crack. I think it would be crazy.
We could use those until we can fucking invent artificial gravity. And invent real fucking pod racers.
Just like
and hoverboards.
Well, if you could figure out some way to do some sort of a maglev, that's what you're basically trying to recreate is maglev without the magnetic thing. You know what I mean?
That good superconductor to get that happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're doing maglev on train systems and monorails, so like but you're required to have a track in that instance, right? We don't
opposing force,
right? We don't want to have a track. We want to be able to basically have the freedom that you have on a quad, but be able to basically
be like find the fucking the thing that the Earth is giving you and just repel off of that.
I mean,
somehow.
Well, anyways, fucking with enough thrust, like I said, if you could just get enough thrust, I just imagine we'll go 200 miles an hour completely like in a straight line if you wanted to. Like that would be fucking
sick.
Because those things have a fucking metric shit ton of thrust.
I'm gonna be interested to see how those manned drone races are gonna go.
It's still up in the air, man. There haven't been much information.
Like are those altitude controlled too? Like
I've seen a video
kind of similar
about it. I don't think it has battery once it takes off. I don't think it has any kind of.
I would imagine they have an altimeter and just all the standard readouts that you would expect, like airspeed, altimeters, compass, shit like that in there. I don't believe there's any. I don't believe there's any autonomous or autopilot in terms of that. But I don't know what they're being regulated to either, or if they are at all at this point. I don't know. I haven't looked. I haven't seen that kind of stuff.
It does have to have some kind of like pit control to keep this.
Right.
I think that's where. So if it has something like that similar,
you got to talk in your mic, bro.
I said that it can possibly have. Actually, it has to have some kind of pit control built into to keep the unit leveled. Can be 1,000% the user.
Well, of course it has flight control, but that's not the same as autonomy.
Well, what I'm saying though, if it has that capacity, then it has to have some kind of capacity for autonomism, in the sense of you partly level.
I mean, Betaflight has angle mode. That is not the same as putting it on a waypoint or having it control as you have return to home. With GPS,
yeah, but it doesn't really know where home is, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what
Phone's home.
Phone's home.
Phone home.
Please deposit $2.5 million.
I don't know. Hit up Ashley, dude, and be like, "Yo, what you guys rocking? What you guys rocking over there?" I've tried to watch some of the videos, but I haven't seen them get that in depth regarding like what they're doing aside from flying them.
I don't even think they know as of yet. I think everything right now is just demo to show off what's the possibilities of it.
We really need to develop sonic propulsion. Yeah, generating the sound waves to push stuff.
The brown note.
Fly over a city and just
everyone just shits.
You see those specials that talk about how like they believe that's how alien spacecraft maneuvers using sonic stuff to just amp up the sound waves and just now they're over here, right? You know,
Maybe.
I saw some stupid video a long time ago where like they were using sound waves to get something to float in like a vacuum chamber, and they were able to change the pitch, and it would move over here, and then it would move down here. But it was in a vacuum chamber. It wasn't just outside, right?
So technically, in space, you possibly get away with doing that
Yeah.
because space is supposed to be a vacuum, supposedly.
We just need to get some, miniaturized ion thrusters so we can fucking do this shit the way we want.
I mean, science have already come up with an idea for like ion propulsed engines on it. It's just what's killing them with design is the energy. We don't have the energy to run it. Even like a nuclear.
It's not
collider,
efficient right now. Yeah.
Yeah, even like a nuclear accelerator or a fusion splicer needs a huge immense of power. And look how big those machines are, like a building size. So imagine the amount of power you need to do that in space. And where you're gonna get it, how you're gonna use it. Because even like I think not even nuclear power can support that. It's just not enough. So they say the only viable solution is to actually create fusion power. In other words, harness the power of the sun. And then by then we'll destroy ourselves.
Indeed.
Yes. unless we find some way to convert rando bando water into sustainable energy.
No, I can get down.
People have been killed over that.
Yes, I'm still alive.
What's up, Donnie?
Ish. What up, Donnie?
Time we got.
Said that his mountain board is basically a hoverboard, changed my life for a greatest adventure ever.
I agree, man.
Yes.
I got an electric skateboard, dude. It makes life more fun.
Yeah, I rode
until
one,
you
broke
bust
my
your
tooth.
ass. Shout out to GQ out there.
Yeah.
I think my dog killed the battery on my electric board because he would pull me faster than the board could go. And after doing that, a good handful of times, all of a sudden the battery was just completely
Back charge
shot.
the battery.
I think it did, yeah.
Slapping that regen, see if that helps. Just find a nice long hill and hit the regen. Just go for it. No,
Yeah.
I actually my.
I would
I
expect.
think in essence that's what the dog was doing by
I would
pulling
think
me faster than
the
it could
Beck
go,
though
right?
the Beck would fucking stop charging it. I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe that's weird. It's
I don't know.
Like the boosted boards have regenerative braking, and they fucking but they also will generate when you're going downhill, and you can jumpstart a boosted, basically, if you have a problem with the battery. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, like, because like I've seen situations where the batteries would get over drained and it wouldn't take a charge, so you basically would jumpstart it. You would basically either put it on something to spin the wheels, or you would have to go push it around manually, which is a pain in the ass. But you could definitely.
The boosted board got the belt on it.
Yeah, you could chuck it on a fucking treadmill. Yeah, or something like that.
Or take it on the with your car door open and just drag it.
Yeah.
Just drag it.
Or drag it around. Yeah, there's a bunch of different shit you can do. I can go 20.
Like bringing one of our lipos back on a NIMH charge when they're at 0 volts.
No, not for nothing. Like, I don't know.
Battery start dying on your quad. Just jump on your boosted board with a long wire and just drive it around for a while to charge it for a 6S pack.
I just feel like I would bust my ass more on a fucking one wheel than any deck out there.
Yeah, one wheel is a learned experience.
Yeah, I'm too used to 4 wheels.
I would love to learn, but
I just like to be able to carve real hard.
That doesn't look like a good time to me, honestly. I'm a 4-wheel type of guy too.
No, well, see, here's the thing though. You can ride off of shit. You can like hit like decent drop offs. Like come off a curb, it ain't no thing. You know what I mean? Like you can be hauling ass, come off a curb and be good. You do that on the 4 wheels, dude. I don't care what board you have, what Mach speed you could be at. That shit's gonna be an uncomfortable landing with 2 sets of wheels hitting first. And a one wheel is just kind of much more forgiving in that aspect.
Yeah, most
air-filled tire.
It's brutal.
Well, most electrics don't have a kicktail
on my own board, and I fucking love them.
Because on any other skateboard, coming off a fucking curb is no issue at all. You know what I mean? Fucking.
Well, I mean, with a boosted board or something, your weight is on the back. You can't. It's hard to pull.
Well, you don't have a
much of
kicktail. That's what I'm saying. That's what I just said. You don't have a kicktail, as compared to anything else. Like,
yeah, well, and also you're on a much longer board, so that weight is way further.
yeah, dude, my longboard is just as long, if not longer, than my boosteds. But like, it rides like more like a fucking traditional tag. You know what I mean? Just the only difference is my trucks are backwards.
Yeah.
You know, so like, now I hear you though, but I totally agree. I think for off-roading and obstacles, the one wheel definitely wins over a traditional. Now, are none of these off-road boards shaped with a quick kicktail? Like none of them? I just hadn't looked, so I don't know.
I mean, most of your
I've never seen one that has a kicktail.
Yeah, because they're
I've seen
basically
the cheaper ones on Amazon have them.
Bootless,
those little like
bootless
peanut
mountain
styles.
boards. I mean, I don't know what you would do with a kicktail. I know that at least in the dirt, I want to just be able to plant. I want to have.
But just like just boost it, just even it out as you go
my
for
foot
curb.
into it so I can hold on tight while I'm going.
I mean, I still want to be able to ollie, like, you know, if there's a big root in front of me that I know is going to slow me down.
Well,
face first.
I mean, I will say
I'd like
this,
to at least be able to
news,
try to ollie over it.
The good news with like if you got big wheels on your shit, then you just take your foot off the front. You just lift and let the back foot take the brunt.
It isn't it isn't comfortable though, like you said, dude. It's not comfortable. Like there's a lot of things like that. Like I got hung up on train tracks bad one time on my boosted, and like if I would have had a kicktail, I would have been able to get it over no problem. With a bit of, you know what I mean? It just was
so
not.
Drag is saying he's got a 42-inch 8-plod deck with springs and bushings. Yeah. I rode somebody's LaCroix board, and it's got suspension, dude. You want to talk about I mean, that thing does go like 35 miles an hour, which is a little butt curdling, but it is fucking so awesome.
One good thing,
it's such a smooth ride, dude. Like, it's incredible. You can carve deep off road on those things. I understand why it's fucking $3,000.
I rode somebody's nice board with springs and suspension and stuff like that over at Rotor Riot a couple of years ago at one of the Quads and Coffee events, and that thing was sick. It was fast too.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
there's a dude in Atlanta who had a board he brought to Rampage this year that they were talking about. I can't remember which board it was. It was one of the off-road, like, suspension, etc.
The boosted,
that's just cool as fuck. My life has definitely been more fun with one.
The boosteds are very flexible boards. The suspension is built into the deck, basically.
Yeah, and I'm a heavy guy, so like having a fucking flexi deck is just not my speed. I'm gonna bottom that shit out, especially at speed.
Yeah,
but he wants a flexi deck.
So I love a flexi deck. If I'm fucking, if
my
I'm really
arbors,
trying a longboard, like my old longboard, that shit was flexy as fuck. But
my arbor is fucking my non-electric board is stiff, and my boosted's really flexy.
I tried to boost it, man. It was I just felt like I was gonna bottom out.
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, you have to change your stance. I mean, obviously, the closer to your trucks you get, the less suspension you get, and you'll get that. You know what I mean? You can get around that by spreading your stance, but.
So she said.
Yeah.
All right.
If you want more flex, you ride a little, narrower stance. If you want less, you fucking widen it out a little.
She said. Well, speaking of all this suspension, I don't fucking know. Suspension? It's about that time. You want to run this this game of quad?
No, it's not that time. It's 7 minutes early.
Is it not 11 already?
No.
20 minutes.
Plus, Trent's not here.
Yeah, I thought she was. I saw Brutal's name, and I don't know
what's up, bro? She gonna come on and like throw her equilibrium right out the window. She goes, "This is my mommy time. I don't have it."
To be pissed. My bad.
Yeah, she definitely.
I came too early. Also,
she'll force choke you.
That's what she said. Fucking hell. What does we have? Yeah, we don't have a lot of time for any of the news crap right now. But
Oh, wow.
Well, what do we got?
What do we have?
What do we got?
what's up, CJ? Hey, look.
Speaking of the devil.
Hey, there's our guest
CJ.
next week. Come and check out CJ.
Hold on,
What's
CJ.
up, buddy?
His ear was ringing.
Hi-yo.
Hello. Saludos.
Yeah, we pretty well derailed the whole top of the show. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've been on for an hour and we've got what 6-7 minutes worth of quad talk.
Yeah,
And the rest of it is just
Well, you know,
gibberish.
the other shit's important too.
Yeah, of course.
They go
Gotta
ahead.
know Dragoneers has an e-board, which means, you know.
Well, in the respect of
Yeah, what's going
the
on,
one
chat?
wheel,
What'd you guys do this week?
The one wheel has a pit controller. That's got to count for something.
What is,
Yeah, true.
yeah.
Yeah, what's up, chat?
What
Yeah,
It's quiet night tonight. How's the weather out there? It's beautiful here tonight. It was hotter than hell today.
raining?
Today was beautiful. It was like 75 degrees and sunny.
Like last few days have been pretty decent.
It was like
Yeah.
100 and something here in Georgia. I was walking into a mall. Some dude's driving in the parking lot, like trying to drive by, solicit people, like, "Hey, you have a minute? Come here and talk to me." Like trying to sell something to this lady. Like I just kept walking, and she had to like stop and be like, "No, no thanks, no thanks."
Jesus Christ.
She's like, "I am not trying to hang out here in the sun and listen to what you have to say."
Yeah. Well, dude, the heat index hit like 110 a couple days ago.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's
It was
ridiculous.
stupid, man. It was literally it was way hotter in Georgia than it was in Florida when I was there.
Where are you that it's cold, John?
Have you
The
fucking
hell? Cold where, John?
did you go to Alaska or Australia? Because I mean, so yeah.
Y'all been having rain up north?
Yeah,
It's like
rain, yeah,
it's
last night.
two words, and the hint is one of the words is pole.
Stripper.
Those are not cold.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
touch her butt cheeks after she does a dance.
Oh
it's really nice.
fucking hell.
Those are hot and sticky.
Or they smell
Thumbs
like
have glitter
peaches.
on.
Ask me how I know.
Tech licked it.
Oh, I totally
Yeah.
screwed the pooch there.
Yeah.
Well, stopped raining. John's cold. 50s there
I've
in
got
the
a
night of the
build.
Cape.
I've got build aversion.
Yeah, what?
I got build aversion. I want somebody else to build my quads for me.
You have build
I
aversion?
just want to fly them.
Lazy fuck.
You're like
Basically.
talking weird science, like you want to build a virgin. What?
I'm
Yeah, I was
build
like,
a virgin. That's exactly what I want to do.
One of the truck shows got shut down on mobile for being too hot. Damn.
Oh,
John in the
wow.
chat, what's good?
Oh, well, because
110
fucking Mobile's in the
days.
damn armpit, son.
You should.
I
Yeah,
always shout out to the shrimp basket in Mobile with that fucking 2-pound basket of shrimp for like $20.
Yeah, CJ's been traveling around all over the place. All of
Shit.
them trucks.
Get them damn trucks.
All
get
them
damn-
trucks. Oh yeah, well I was working on that. I'm working on the stuff for next week. Checking out his channel. There's some dope stuff there. Very cool.
Virgin. Speaking of building a virgin.
There
Look
he
at-
is.
There he is.
Danish.
Speaking of chasing things, I don't know
Hey,
if you checked out
gangs-
his drift
The
footy, but that
stallion
shit
is in the house.
What up, Danish?
Stallions in the house.
Yeah, we got a bunch of team shorts and flip flops checking in. Reckinson, Stallion, CJ.
I got mine in check.
Hell yeah.
I'll be ready
Gangs
for
out
after the
here.
4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 4th is coming soon, huh?
Like
Damn,
next
this,
week,
this year is
sometime.
fucking flying by already, dude.
I
Yeah,
hate
it
it
is.
next week.
I just
You click the YouTube button, upload, and bada bing, bada bam, you got viewers.
what the fuck are you
Or that
talking
easy.
about?
Read CJ's
I'm
comment.
terrible at posting at YouTube. Yeah, same. I just don't give a fuck. I just don't give a fuck.
Starting an edit, much less
Bro,
getting it
the,
on
the,
YouTube.
the hilarious thing is, like, I edit constantly. Like, I'm constantly fucking around doing shit, like, and then just never put anything out there. Like, it's not always drone shit, but I'm constantly, like, fucking around with Resolve. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
your problem is probably never finishing the edit, always editing, but never quite finishing it.
Finished tons of crap. Like, it just depends on what I'm just like, what I'm actually doing. But like,
yeah, if you're
I'm definitely more. I've been trying to play more shit, little clips of shit on the show and do whatever, but fucking. But a lot of it's just been practice exercises. So I'm finishing what I'm intending to do. But it's like, I want to learn how to, like, do green screen stuff really good, or whatever whatever it is. So I just practice doing shit. And so, like, little pieces will come out. Like I wanted to learn how to make credits, right? So I made the Goon Squad credit thing as just an exercise, for the B2P credits, just as an exercise, you know what I mean? Like, just to learn how to do it. And it was just like, and that's what came out, It was just like.
Feel that, CJ. I post most of the
Feel
Facebook
the
and Instagram
burn.
lately.
There's so many platforms to post.
B2P workout guide with Chad.
That's
Workout
where you got the
guide?
shortcuts for uploads on check.
Have everybody stand up and jog in place so we can get our cardio.
We need to.
Resolve our.
We were talking about that earlier, actually. Though there's so many fucking platforms. Period. It's hard to keep up. Like, sometimes, like, people try to message us during the show, and they'll be hitting us someplace, but we can't. I can't watch. Like, I can't watch 5 platforms at the same time. We do not have enough screens, bro. Like, too many platforms.
Too many screens. I'm working on one screen right now, or even worse, it could have been
I get hit and miss with Insta sometimes.
I got slivers of like apps open. I got a sliver of YouTube, I got a sliver of the chat, and a sliver of Zoom, and sliver of voice meet in the background. Like, literally, I just got the meter shown, so at least I know I'm hitting the microphone.
I just never post anything, so that way I'm consistent.
Exactly. Consistency is everything with the algorithm. If I just continue not to post, they keep posting my shit.
I've gotten so used to it from the fucking vaping days. I was vaping at least once or twice, sometimes 5-6 times a week, depending on what needed to be posted. So I got used to that routine, so it's like nothing to me.
I feel like Instagram, since it's so short, or at least it used to be limited to, super, super short, but I feel like I have to do something like super cool if I want to just highlight this little 30-second thing. It better be something super cool, and I never do anything cool. So
well, the issue I had initially, how
more cool shit.
A lot of the fucking different platforms, especially if you're trying to make video content, because like Instagram I always viewed for stills initially, but obviously videos become much more ingrained in Instagram content. But the aspect ratio changes, and the way they would fuck with your video and how it's displayed on that platform, because they're looking for a vertically long aspect ratio, whereas YouTube wants horizontally wide. You want wide, widescreen. So like you make a cool edit, and then you have to like somehow like make it work on Instagram, and it just seemed like it was like, it's cool. There are some tools that you can use now in some of the editors to basically help you along with your crop and get you a better format out of the same timeline. So like say I think
you're starting to see features that are specific, like the new DJI Mini 3, like you can go portrait mode
on the capture.
Yeah. So you can get that social media angle, right?
Yeah, 16:9.
I think it's really
camera firmwares are supposed to be coming out, but I just
some people will capture. Some people capture portrait mode in camera, but I'm talking about like what you're traditionally doing on a drone, like a GoPro or whatever. You're making a video, a widescreen, quote unquote, or 16:9, typically fucking YouTube edit for most FPV applications, right? Yeah. And so for me, it was just like, I hated that. Now, I can only speak towards Resolve specifically, but they've added some really nice cropping features where you can literally put up guides and then basically crop your fucking shit really quickly out of the same timeline and generate a second timeline off your first edit. So if you make an FPV edit, there's a way to jump into cut and fucking crop really quickly your fucking edit.
That's awesome.
Which is pretty helpful, but it's still kind of a pain in the ass. Like, you know, again, we were talking earlier just about it's a pain in the ass to have all these fucking platforms, and then all the platforms are different. If you're trying to make something and you want it to look good everywhere, like you almost like you can just punt and throw it up the way you have it, which is fine, you know, for the most part. But you're not maximizing like the screen space on Instagram when you do that, you know. So there are ways around it, but fuck, it's a pain in the ass to fucking do all that shit. 1-to-1. Yeah, I mean, you can let IG crop your shit.
Well, I just press the aspect ratio button when I'm posting on it, and it just posts the shit in 16:9.
Yeah, but you're losing vertical height in what
well,
Instagram
it's the
gives
same
you.
video. It's just
Sure.
they just shrink it down a little
Yeah,
bit.
but if you flip the screen over and go full size, you get.
But if you were to shoot in portrait mode and actually develop it from that, you would have a bigger image than what you get by just hitting that.
Yeah, but it
button
looks
on.
stupid.
Yes, and it depends on what you're doing. Like,
It looks really nice if you're doing like long cinematic fucking mountain shots. It's great, but like doing a freestyle run, it's awful.
well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want Instagram to do it. I'm just saying there are tools that we're starting to see in programs, like I said, like Resolve, for example, that you can do it and it doesn't look stupid. You can actually do it right. You know what I mean? It's possible. The only reason why I'm even bringing this up is that for people that are trying to cross post to a lot of stuff, you can, you know, make your YouTube edit and then you can just duplicate that timeline, and there's tools in Cut that will fucking it will help you along, and then gives you tools where it uses the AI to keep basically your subject basically center of focus, or the center of the frame. So you can it's almost tracking your video but keeping it in there, so you can dictate what you want in that Instagram cut a lot better than just letting Instagram do it or whatever.
Off Axis, what up, homie?
So
Hey, I think it's that time. Trin is here. What's up?
It is that time.
she paused her game to come over.
What are you playing? Wait, what?
She's
State of
playing
Decay
Tummy Sticks.
2.
State of I don't play.
State of I gotta take care of the kid. I'll be right back.
I'm surprised Division
Game that never
votes.
ends.
Is that a cloud?
Vote cloud.
Oh, let's see. It's gonna be a short game of quad. Fuck.
Dos.
Dos.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
Dos mujeres, un camino.
You're either gonna love that logo or you're gonna vote for Perry.
This is true. All right, let's make sure we got a little bit of volume on this shit. All right, here we go. All right, so we had Sparks setting in a game of quad trick for this week. Flat yaw. You had to do a flat yaw, kickbacks, and a reverse Immilton in your run, and you had a minute and a half to do it.
Immilton?
Immilton, yeah. Immelman. Immilton.
It's an Immelman over a tin can.
That sounds like a challenge to be.
Immelman over a tin can.
An Immilton.
Be as close to the can as possible.
It's a reverse cowgirl.
Reverse count, yeah. I'm in Georgia, Tran. Georgia.
Hey, playing with you.
South of Atlanta. It is pizza time, John. I got some right here.
All right, so
This motherfucker's over here eating wings, bro. Selfish SO, you know what?
first up is what is real.
Love that logo.
Oh, I'm fitting to split this chat right down the middle without bringing up politics. My pizza has pineapple on it. Go.
You can go to hell. You can go to hell and die.
What
You
is
can have
with
it your
that
way,
shit?
just don't expect me to like it.
Yep.
I mean,
Ham and bacon and pineapple.
if you don't like it,
Yes.
it's pineapple's
Son of a bitch.
easy to remove from pizza. So I mean,
It is.
Bacon, you can't, but at least bacon.
Well,
It's not
it's
even that
the
bad.
sugar.
It's just not something
It's
I would
the
go ever
sugar.
order.
Yeah, it's not something I typically order, but on occasion.
Well, I would never order
It
it.
is sugar
I kind of look at it
But I
as
would
I
eat
always
it
looked at it
if
as
it's
kind
in
of like
front of me.
it's kind of like dessert pizza.
That depends. I like it with
Next
bacon
up is
and
Perry
jalapeno.
Earl.
I'll take it with bacon too. Makes it
I
better.
don't eat
Yeah.
bacon, but it's acceptable.
Delish.
It's like pepperonis, but a little bit more salty, I guess. A little fattier.
I mean, you know.
No.
Ham.
Tell you the truth, I don't even think that many pizzerias buy me.
Oh, the combo. Combo.
You and Waldo were freaking king, swear to God.
First thing I'm on something.
Combos.
What's funny,
What your
I
mama
probably
feed you
did all of
if your
these
mama
tricks
were
today
mad.
while flying and didn't even not even think about it.
I've been
That's
practicing.
I probably could have entered.
That's me every single time. Sandalo. Oh my God. James
All
Barry said
right,
that.
rewind it. Okay, here come your
That's the
choices.
damn word, Sandalo.
We'll just run it
Get
from.
on the pole.
We'll run it from the
everybody.
top.
Alright, Danish. You had me on shredded chicken. You had me on the curry. When you said pineapple, no. Onion mushrooms, sure. Pineapple,
Curry
no.
curry pineapple. You don't like curry and pineapple?
No.
That's a
I could
delicious
deal with the curry. I
combination.
can deal with everything else. The pineapple, you know.
You know, like pineapples or is
I like pineapples. Just pineapples do not belong on pizza.
All
have you
right,
ever had it?
here we go. We're
Yes.
gonna once again. This is
All right.
Sparks setting the trick.
Thank you. So let's go.
Wow, the pineapple bacon.
This is, I don't know. It's the idea. This is me personally. It's like, I guess all these things for it.
Like
It's
I
like,
might.
It's just not fucking anchovies. People who like that are from fucking hell.
There's combinations of tricks on that. It's
I had a spinach dip pizza. That was pretty good. Been like the same kind of Spanish dip you get like on the garden or something like the Red Lobster bread. But better on pizza. Yeah, it's Spanish artichoke. Oh my god, I'm so fucking. I had one in some place in Brooklyn. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'll get 2 slices in. Yeah, my ass. I only finished 1 slice. It was massive.
sounds heavy as fuck.
All right, first up is what is real.
Let's go. Skydive. What's
Skydive.
going on, homie?
Dude, the last person that come in here was $1. $1 bill, yeah. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that RV right there. Look at the RV right there, so the wife kicks him out, he still has a place to go.
Man, he go all the way to Sparks' neighborhood just to do this game of quad.
No, there's
That's
not
what it
enough
looks like.
power lines.
Yeah, true.
True.
Sparks' neighborhood is like a spider web of power.
That was
lines.
what is real. Once again, it's exclamation point vote hashtag the number. No, actually, sorry, vote space in the number.
Sparks block. You going to sleep? Alright, Bobby, have a good night, bro. Night, Danish.
Hey, Nish, have a good one.
Later, bro.
City, bro.
Good night, Danish.
Sounds like a Jackson's 5 singing it.
Combos.
Get
What your mom would
votes
feed you
in,
if your
get
mom
your
were a
votes
man.
in. Pick your you got choice 1, choice 2,
I've been
choice 3,
practicing.
and choice 4. You just gotta find the other two.
You missed the little outro wave I had on there. Clipped from a combos commercial where the dude says, "Combos, what your mother would have given you if your mother was a man."
Wait, where was that?
It was right at the end, but it was right as Tecker already started talking, so it cut it out.
Tech
It was
yapping
right-
over the things? Yeah, I know.
That was funny.
Fucking hell. Should we run it again just because we have time, or we only have 2?
Go for
Yeah.
it.
All right,
Fuck
cool.
it.
Might as- if nothing else, just to hear that stupid clip, because I searched for something.
I mean, I will bet 20 that fucking Ulysses will talk over it.
Probably. He probably will just for the sake of it.
Just replay.
Dude, that's why I called
what
you
up,
that.
B-Rock?
Man.
Yeah, what's up, Ed?
Edward, what's up, man?
He vote that's Maddie's number.
Yeah.
No, he voted for Maddie.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, what he said. I concur, Johnson. Chuck, what up?
Good woodchuck. All right, here we go. This is What Is Real.
Shout out to Woodchucks.
Third time's the charm, guys.
Yeah.
Get your ganders.
Remind me to be you should shut the hell up after the exit.
Tech, shut up.
Thank you. No hablo inglés, por favor. En este momento voy a empezar a hablar inglés, nada más. A mí español. Para la gente que no entiende el idioma inglés.
Sí.
Sí, por favor. Y por favor, no más freaking piña en la pizzería.
He's about to. I got my finger on the button.
Remember, I know what state you live in. Everybody, shut the fuck up.
Challenger.
Including me.
Peril.
That's that rental car.
Oh shit.
That V6 Charger.
Mm-hmm.
Charger, Challenger.
Either way, that was the same fucking body.
Oh. It's fucking hysterical. Alright, well, that didn't work.
Combos. What your mom would feed you if your mom were a man.
I've been practicing.
Alright, get your votes in, yeah.
Yeah, you got like 5 minutes, maybe.
course, we'll probably forget and not turn it off like last week.
Yes, that was the same shirt that I'm wearing now because I literally flew that a couple hours ago.
Boom.
Should post some of that DVR.
Before my quad started freaking out like a retard.
Your gummies are too tight, bro.
Your gummies are too tight.
Speaking of
Here,
tight
here, wait.
gummies,
Here, hold on. All right, here.
Good evening. I'm Waldo. Thanks for joining us for B2P News. Here's what's going on in MPV this week.
Speaking of tight gummies, in the news, SwiftDuck discovered why you should not smash the fucking gummies on your flight controller. I repeat.
Oh yeah.
You should not smash the gummies on your flight controller.
Just
you
don't
should
tighten it
smash
that
the
much.
gummies into your mouth. Smash the
PSA,
gummies into your mouth.
PSA, pineapples not belong on pizza. Continue. Back to you.
Fucking.
It's like the first time in 2 years I've even had to use gummies.
Well, Greg's coming from FedTech, which is they're using hard-mounted flight controllers. Something that I also do, and I was going to recommend too, is like because you'd mentioned, I think you had a little bit of trouble getting it out, sitting the one gummy, I think, or something.
Yeah,
one
I
got
ripped
torn.
the shit out of that one on the ESC.
Yeah, I have definitely struggled at times with some of the fucking gummies. I was going to say, I sometimes will just play, I will fucking spin my stack bolts a little bit so that I can get them so that there's a good, that it goes up and down. I know it's a lovely fucking graphic. It goes up and down, kind of like you're jerking off now. You got to fucking make sure that, you know, you're not tearing your gummies up, that it's not too tight all around. Like,
kind of one.
Get your fucking mind out of that.
I changed it so that they're just basically just the nuts are just on there.
On some fucking
just there.
It's just resting there.
Some of the gummies on some of the flight controllers, they fucking are a pain in the ass, depending on your hardware that you're using on your stack. Right. So like,
I had no idea fucking over tightening a fucking stack could fucking cause the issues that I was having.
Oh, absolutely.
That's crazy.
But it goes all the way around. If they're too loose, you'll cause the same issue.
Sitting there trying to figure out all these tuning problems, ESC, PIDs, filters, and I'm just like, nah, your gummies are too tight, bro.
You got to cover all your bases, obviously, but you know you have to remember that like a lot of gyros, this isn't really as big of an issue with. And some boards, when I started flying, everything was hard mounted, and you know the only person that the only FC at the time that I remember having gummies was the very beginning race flight board because of the 32K gyros. And that's when it started, you know, when you started seeing soft mounting becoming a thing. Those are good gummies, definitely, Marcel. But this is kind of something I think that it's important we actually talk about it a little bit tonight because, you know, Greg ran into the issue. And honestly, when they first started talking about it, it just didn't cross my mind immediately because, I mean, for me, it's just kind of second nature when I'm building my stacks. I had a methodology. I've known this issue, and so I've just always built accordingly, and I just forgot about it. You know what I mean? Like, kind of. And so when they first started...
I didn't even cross my mind.
So when they first started talking about it, you know, and not for nothing, they're both... Well, Spagoo is having a similar issue. We think it's the same issue.
It's the same issue. Has to be.
But he was running Betaflight 4.3 beta target or something, and we weren't sure if that was a problem with the firmware. You know, there's a lot of other shit that could be going on. But the bottom line is that, yeah, definitely, I'm of the mindset is if the FC has gummies on it, you want it to fucking basically float without having any real vertical motion. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking, you don't want them to be tight at all. Like, in many cases,
gummies are usually like made in a way that they're enough grip on them that they don't fucking slide up.
Well, you're probably going to have some friction, but that's kind of you have to watch because not every frame is drilled perfectly, right? Like, if you have multiple stacks, like just the tolerances in the build of especially multiple plates sometimes your fucking hardware just might be kinked a little bit, you know? So you just got to try to make it so that those, like, again, the fucking stack can slide up and down fine. I have, in a pinch, used a little bit of fucking oil, basically, on my gummies to get them down in there. You can use fucking, like, what, Vaseline? You know? And,
Astroglide also works.
I'm Hispanic. I use Crisco.
But, you know, fucking, you don't want some of these boards. Some of these boards you do not want, even just like, you don't want them to be too tight on the actual fucking bolts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want friction. They shouldn't move really super freely, but they shouldn't be hard either. If they're hard to move up and down, that's probably too much. Because what is happening is the resonant frequencies are transferring through the hardware, and if it's too tight, it just bangs right into your flight controller in certain maneuvers. And so, like, you have to... I used to build them... If my gummies were tight enough so that it wouldn't have any movement really on the bolts, but I could move it if I put my hand on it, like, that's proper. Like, if I can move it up and down by using the appropriate amount of force, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I ended up.
And in many cases, what I would do is just get some E6000 and fucking glue the ends off so that the board can't come off. But it's not, like, trapped either. Or I will put the nuts down, I'll make sure I Loctite them and or glue them with, like, E6000 or hot glue. Because you just want to trap the nut where it is. You literally want, like, a quarter of a millimeter, quarter of a millimeter between your FC gummies and whatever spacer or gummy is below it, and then same on top. You want fucking a cunt hair, top and bottom. And that is it. You don't want the nuts to even really touch the fucking actual gummy. And so sometimes what I also do is I will print my own TPU spacers if I need a little more space. Because TPU can grip pretty nicely as well. And you could use TPU spacers on top and just glue them on. And then when you need to pull them, you just yank them off real quick. So it's just like, but it's just important to fucking give yourself that much space whenever you are dealing with these flight controllers. Otherwise, you will run into the exact same thing you have. And if you have them too tight, you'll completely desync and crash.
Yep. That's where we were at. Fucking flying around and everything was good. And then you start doing, like, hard rolls and shit. And it would just, like, spin out.
Pen, pineapple, apple pen.
Good night, Reckinson.
I forgot that existed.
I remember that song.
Thanks.
Heck just reminded me of it.
But we went
in the chat. I have a pen.
I got
an apple.
I got an apple. Apple pen.
Oh my god.
It was too easy.
So fucking, I was talking...
Chad lost his train of thought.
Pineapple, apple pen.
Good night, Reckinson.
Okay.
Good one, brother.
Good night, Regginson.
Oh my god.
You know, it's no wonder why nobody knows this shit, because y'all don't fucking listen.
No.
Listening, bro.
Fucking hell.
We're still trying to explain to people how to vote.
I walked away. All right, guys. Good night. Bye.
You type pen, pineapple, vote, space, and then the number. Oh man. Yeah, I think a lot of people, including myself, for the first probably year or so, a couple of years that I was flying, thought that, man, you just tighten the crap out of those things. Because, like, if you don't tighten them down, then your nuts back right off of the gummies.
Well, yeah, that's
when you're flying, so you
logic.
end up losing them. So I'm like, nah, they're gummies, right? You're supposed to tighten the crap out of them. And
I flew FETEC for fucking like almost a year and a half now, and it's been a long time since I built anything else. Dude, they don't use gummies at all. You just put that shit right on the stack.
Yeah.
The only thing you separate the fucking ESC and the flight controllers with, like, either some nylon nut or whatever fucking else you want to
later,
use.
CJ. Thanks for stopping
back
by.
In the days with the back of days with some of the KISS flight control, they actually all they did was
Just
put
fucking yank
gummy
them down.
spacers. Nah, I
See,
remember some of
what
them
I
with
liked,
the
what I liked
individuals.
about those KISS just standoffs, but they were, they weren't like you didn't.
Where the fuck is it? I can't
anything
find
down
it.
on top of it. Really, I mean, it was like just the bottom spacer
Nice.
and then a screw on top. I like those. I mean, they seem to work really well for me, and I didn't have any problem with dislodging, except maybe once or maybe twice.
Well, I had the
No,
opposite
me neither.
effect. I had the opposite effect with the helio boards. And the helio boards, they recommended just only using the one flight control, use nothing else. I remember when I first got into them, they were very sensitive gyros, and I over soft mounted, so that I had fucking soft mount from the ESC straight the hell up. And I must have gone through like 7-8 packs. I couldn't fucking tune this shit to save my life. And then I hit the developer, and he was like, "Yeah, just run the one
Well-
FC only." And I did that, and literally the same tune was pretty much 90% done. It was good. All the oscillations got away. Any weird effects that I had on it was all gone. And ever since that day, I've always made a habit of just only using the flight controllers.
It doesn't. I think you just need to find the similar shore hardness in the fucking actual gummy. Some gummies are harder, some of them are softer.
Yes.
You just need to find something in the same case. Raceflight and Helio had very similar hardness in their gummies. Some are a little bit harder, some a little bit even softer. This is what I was trying to talk about. Was like there was also a phase where people were soft mounting more, like all over the fucking place, and there was points
soft mount
where
motors and
soft mounting motors, which is not, in some cases can still be a benefit, but it got a little crazy at points where it's kind of what Tech was saying, like. And this is the reason why I'm always telling you guys, run fucking bolts, right? Run bolts
Straight
through your plate, put a nut on it, lock it down, get it nice and straight and true and tight. And then, like I said, when you're putting your fucking stack together, make sure it moves up and down, but you're not tearing up your gummies and it's not crazy fucking hard to do this, right? And then, because there was points where people's shit would fucking the flight controller, like on a hard maneuver, the flight controller would actually shift because they had soft mounted too much. So they were getting all these crazy tuning issues because the flight controller was actually moving front to back and side to side, and in some cases up and down, if depending on how it was actually mounted.
Just movement alone.
That's why FedEx hardware like to be locked in solid. Like any vibrations on their fucking flight controller.
But I've seen it
send the thing
like
fucking
that's why
vibrating like a motherfucker.
I tell people never use nylon stack fucking spacers and that shit.
Yeah,
like run a
you
fucking
had-
bolt.
Yeah, you just said that. I was going to mention that earlier too. Like that's the other big common misconception amongst new pilots, especially if you buy a stack, it comes put together with those stupid nylon standoffs and then some nuts on top. And I flew mine that way, and you crash hard, break a standoff, ESC grounds against something, and then you're shot.
Well,
And you end up cranking
there's
those
the nylon
standoffs down.
standoffs, but then there's also the fucking you put the bolt straight through, and then all you do is just spin one of those fucking nylon plastic pieces for a flight controller to sit down on. All they're for is just to raise it up. Those are fine. I've never broken a single one of those, but I've broken the fucking the nylon stack ones where you like have the screw on it, and then you put your stack on, and then you screw it in. Those fucking broke
all the time.
I've never broke just a straight bolt and used the one that you just spin on. I wish I had one right in front of me.
Well, I remember back in the days,
all
probably the
fucking
guys
time.
were flying for a while. Remember back in the day, used to give you the stack screws, but it will be nylon. Yeah, that's fine.
That's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
I rest my flight controllers on these things.
Well, that's a spacer, yeah. I use
nylon spacer. Yeah.
Nylon spacers are fine. You can get a shit ton of 3mm M3, just a shit ton of M3 spacers, and then you can just stack them as needed, basically, to make whatever height you need. If you have a 3D,
That's what I do.
if you have a 3D printer, I just print shit hard TPU, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It works great. And the nice thing about those is because, again, like if you can get if your gummies are loose enough, you can use TPU that's tight, and you don't even need to use nuts on top. Technically, like you can lock it down with TPU, and if you make it tight enough, and you just crank it on, and it will stay there. You know what I mean? And that's it. But so when I'm building a stack, because sometimes your ESC and your flight controller, it needs some kind of spacer between it, right? Because there's chips that might touch, or the JSTs might touch, or whatever the case is. The nice thing about printing shit is you literally just, what do you need? Measure it. I need to add 4 millimeter in between the boards, and you can just print whatever you need exactly. And in many cases, I've found that doing that versus using shit off the shelf, I might be able to get 3 boards in my stack easier than I could if I was just using all 5 mil spacers or something. You know what I'm saying? So either using washers and just stacking them accordingly, or printing, it gives you the most versatility in that overall height and how much shit you can cram in a stack. I've found, for me anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that like that's something that if you're running, I think anytime you're getting into a FC that you aren't real personally familiar with, a new board, like if it's got gummies, I definitely would pay attention to the gyros specifically. MPU 6000s are a lot more lenient or tolerant to build, inconsistencies, tight, a little bit over tight or whatever, but Bosch gyros like on the Radix or some of the other boards are using the Bosch, fucking any 32K setup, you definitely do not want to be over tightening your gummies. Any sort of dual gyro setup, a lot of your Talons, like some of the Talons come as MPU 6000, but then a lot of them come with other shit. And so a lot of those Talons you have to watch, and they have gummies.
Yeah, the Talon's one of those boards where you can't over tighten, and that was the last time I flew a fucking board that had gummies. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, a lot of frames too have just holes for your stack mount, so you end up running screws upwards, and then you're dealing with some kind of nut, or like you said, a TPU or something on top. That's one thing I like about the Source One frame is it's got threaded press nuts in the bottom, so it's meant to run your screws down. So you kind of have to run through bolts. It
dual plate
though?
I like running them up personally. I bought a fucking box of 20, 22, 24, 20, whatever, like a box of varying distances, and I just buy them shits, and every time I'm building a quad, I just figure it out. I've cut them down if I needed to. Just grabbed a grinder or something, just fucking knocked them down a bit, and like that's perfect because then you can totally build your stack height as needed. And for me, it's like I prefer it going up. I like to go through and then put a lock nut. If I can fit a lock nut and it makes sense, I'll put a lock nut down there with nylon, and like, you know what I mean? I'll put one of them there. Crank that shit down, never worried about it again. And then build my stack off of that. And that shit is not moving. That's just been, it's just funny that people still run up against this sometimes. You know what I mean? Like it happens. Like it's not.
It's eye-opening for me to realize how fucking something like that can cause desyncs.
Well, and not for nothing, I still see on the regular. I watched the dude posted in a Cine Lifter group fucking recently, and he's in his FC. He was just covered in spaghetti, man. And it's like you're building a Cine Lifter. You want it to be absolutely as smooth as possible. It's already a contraption because it's an X8, and you've got all this extra shit, and you literally just pile all this cable and ran all your video cables and shit over your flight controller, and it's just. I was like, dude, no, like don't do that. Get that shit out of there. Clean it up, because it's like.
Yeah, this is one of the very few hobbies where you need to be a little bit more. You need to be a little bit more OCD about your things. A lot of people, they just built it, they run it. It's not even so much about just learning how to solder, but having a good solder is actually beneficial to your overall build. Your wiring's got to. I'm not saying if the wires have to be super short, but just snug, and don't ever remember, rule of thumb is never run anything over any gyros or any sensors, because those extra little micro vibrations would cause you to have tuning issues. You may not have them now, but when you're flying, just the noise, not the noise, the wind can actually move those wires around and cause you to have weird flying characteristics, and you sit there chasing the tail, and all I have to do is just your wiring.
All right, here we go. End of the game of quad.
Matty wins.
Matty Blunts. Harry motherfucking Earl wins with 5 volts.
He brought everybody with combos.
Congratulations, sir. It's rigged.
I'm gonna have to set something with my tiny whip tomorrow, because I don't trust my radio to be slinging my 5-inch around.
Well, I'm gonna throw this out here. You know what I really want to see? But it's your trick, and you can do whatever you want. But I'm waiting for I want to see somebody just do a minute, the best you can do, or something like that, and then you don't have to set a trick. Just putting that out there.
I like that, because that's pretty much all I do when I go fly.
Well, like, you know, and then just everybody, that way
It was
everybody
just
has,
a minute, best I could do.
give us your best minute. That's my suggestion. Or soon.
Hook a prop on a tree.
And I want to see
Prop
another
on a
song
tree.
challenge.
I did that today, actually.
Twist wires when you can. Absolutely. I mean, Twisted Wire has Twisted Wire has the ability to actually reduce interference
Yeah.
and crosstalk. So
It does.
definitely has.
Double benefits.
Yeah, and I think that's something we, you know, build tips, like don't build the best like your flight controller is the most important part of your drone. You know, without that, nothing else works. So you got to be really conscious about how you're mounting it, how you're wiring it, like everything. That's the most important part of your kit, really, man. And so if you throw a bunch of shit on it, or you smash it down, or it's cockeyed, or it's not fucking mounted on good, just hardware, period, something's loose, you're gonna have problems, and your experience is gonna suck. So like,
That's why I always say that if you're building something, you want to worry about mechanics first before you start touching any of your values. You got a lot of users online always saying, "Oh, what filter? I'm getting all these weird flight characteristics. Well, what PIDs do I do? Can somebody give me a
love you, Tran?
Some of their rates?" No, just first look at your hardware. Make sure your hardware's up to snuff. You know, make sure everything
Take
like
it easy,
all the
Tran.
tidbits that we've mentioned. And then hover it. Some people just put it together and they just want to send it as is, and that's where you lead to problems. Like I know a couple of users that literally go through flight controllers and ESCs every few weeks because they don't do nothing but just install it and fly and not
Don't
the
suck,
chance action.
Solo. Just don't suck.
Just don't suck.
Yeah, just don't suck.
Oh yeah, I have my methods before a quad gets into the air. I build it, make sure everything works, take it outside, hover it, fly it around my yard line of sight. Is it doing anything weird? Can I blip the throttle and it freaks out? Nope. All right, cool. Next stage is fucking take it to the fucking field, then fly it. And if it starts acting weird, tune it.
I'll hover that shit in the house
Now-
if I have to.
Now
I
I
don't give a fuck.
have it as of the past couple of days is setting it on the ground after everything is up, putting my foot on top of it and arming it to make sure it doesn't freaking wig out and try to go to the moon or go sideways and kill me.
I put my drone on my porch because my porch is separate from the outside. So like you leave my house, and there's my porch, and then there's the outside. I'll stand in my house, looking outside on the porch, waiting, and just arm it and wait for it to freak the fuck out. Because one time I've had a quad not set up right, and it just fucking took off. Like holy shit, and it fucking came down and it landed on top of my house. I was like, oh good, at least it was my house.
Yeah,
But
Let your neighbors.
could have been my
I'll have to-
neighbors, and they would have came out pissed, and I would have had to explain myself that the fucking shit freaked out, and they'd be like, "You don't know what you're fucking doing." Yeah.
I
No.
was there watching
I'll have to tell
family
you what
feud,
mine's
you
been.
So now I
fucked
do
up.
that shit on my porch.
I gotta call my wife and tell her good night and all that stuff. So I'll be right
If it
back.
freaks out, it's on my porch.
Well, there's nothing more unnerving than a 10-inch flipping the fuck out. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
yeah.
I would stand the fuck away from that.
I mean,
I would
Like
also
10,000
stand
feet
inside the
away.
house and test it while it's outside the house.
No, what I
that's
do
what
is
I
I
do
got
anyway.
I got a small hallway and I put it like I stand right between the hallway and I put the quad on the other side of the living room and then I arm it and then just do line of sight for it. But before I do a line of sight test, I literally just comb the whole entire quad and make sure there's no sometimes it happens not often, but it does. Sometimes you might get like splashes from the solder, so you want to make sure nothing else touching any other components you have. Make sure your wires are good, do a checklist, make sure you got everything wired up correctly, and then I go and proceed and do just turning it on, make sure the all motors spin up. If they got to be swapped out, take care of that. Then I do line of test. So that'll be probably line of sight test, probably be step 3. And then step 4 is to go outside for me. And then even outside, I just cruise around for a bit and do, like small blips for like 30 seconds.
nah, usually once I get it fucking hovering and I have goggles down and I would give it a couple blips and it doesn't flip out, I'm off. Like, see ya. Like, I don't.
Yeah, sometimes, and then sometimes you might have like top end oscillation. So you always gotta me personally, I just kind of like chill out for the first pack or two.
I want to know that shit immediately. Because as soon as I see it,
during my first pack, I
I'm
do
bringing it
something
in and I'm
similar.
tweaking it out to make it right. Like, that's. But speaking
I
of
usually
making it,
go and fly, do yaw spins on each axis, rolls quick on each axis, see if there's any fucking bounce back, front flips, back flips, throttle blips, and then full punch outs. And if all seems good from there, as long as it's nothing crazy, I mean, I'll accept some issues, but I'll rip it right from there.
I don't even do
But
that.
I'll
Like I
always
said,
do those tests
if
beforehand.
it doesn't flip the fuck out and it isn't acting odd, I will just fly like
Yeah.
immediately, and then just take it from there.
Well, that's why I do the flips and shit. Like, if I'm getting like massive like wobble after a fucking flip, I'm not gonna go flying because it's not gonna be any fun. But
See,
never really
all
had that
those
issue, so.
things.
Well, generally, I find that just like I'm gonna see major tuning issues like in those first couple blips.
That
Generally,
is true.
so
If
it's
it's
like
anything that's earth shattering, it's gonna be.
yeah. I
it's
mean,
gonna-
bit of bounce back or something might
Yeah,
come-
you'll know,
come
like,
out-
it'll
come
roll
out
out
later.
and desync, like from your gummies being too tight.
Possibly,
possibly.
it can happen.
Well, the fucking thing with the motor soft mounting, you know, and I never sat down and did the log thing to really fucking A/B check the whole nine.
Bugs,
But the biggest thing is
private
like
island.
the motor soft mounting was just delaying the noise coming into the gyro.
What's the point of that? Just to reduce vibration into the frame?
The original idea was just to help dampen vibration on the frame and try to reduce frame resonance, but the problem is that it ultimately delayed noise coming from the motor to the frame. It was still coming through, it was being transferred, but because of the rubber, which was what most people were using, it was literally basically delaying it and even causing other weird shit. So most people have pretty much abandoned it. Now, I have a couple things that are still technically soft mounted, and I haven't any major problems with it. But your mileage will vary. Like when I am using any sort of, you know, because some arm protectors use the motor to hold it down, and once you're doing that, you're technically soft mounting the motors.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
So that's a thing to be concerned about as well. Like in some cases, soft mounting motors can be problematic. So
I find tuning was a little more difficult for me when I was soft mounting versus hard mounted motors. So I just abandoned the soft mounting.
I
never soft mounted motors.
If I have issues, well, like I said, like some people don't even know they're soft mounting motors, but if you have a frame that has end protectors on them, most of those use the motor to hold it down. Yeah.
And if you're screwing that head onto that TPU, you are soft mounted.
And the other thing you got to be aware of is anytime you're using any sort of rubber, you have to be really conscious about how much you're torquing one side versus the other. And you know, all around, because it is possible that the TPU could smush more on one side, and you might clip a motor winding, like you're like, holy fuck, how is that even possible? It shouldn't. It's because the TPU gave. You know, say you have X amount of TPU, the TPU gets over compressed. You might get more thread sticking out, and you might actually have more torque on one side than you do on the other. So you have to be more conscious about making sure that you're even all the way around as you're tightening it down and trying to, as best you can, make sure your torque is as even as possible as well. So it can make it a little bit of a challenge. I've on small quads where you're using a fucking 0.5 millimeter TPU, I haven't had a major issue, but on my big ones when I'm running, you know, bigger motors and fucking more TPU, I've gotten more. Even on the 6-inch. On my Bandolero, I could get the motors to cock if I over tightened one side. So it's just something, you know, some people don't even realize it. When I did that, I knew it full well that I was like, yeah, I'm technically soft mounting it, but I'm going to give it a go and see how it runs. And for me, it ran sweet. So I was like, cool. You know, but you do have to think about it.
It's all right job.
But I will say, if you guys are trying to, you know, if you are tuning, I actually want to try to see if we can get Brian White to come on here at some point in the near future. Brian White, if you don't know him, is the gentleman who does PID Toolbox, and
What's PID Toolbox?
PID Toolbox is very similar to Plasmetry, which I've shown on the stream before in the past, where you would take and generate a fucking heat map of your filter noise, and you would generate your step responses for your PID loops. Where, you know, and you guys have seen them, the fucking step response graphs. I've showed them here, and the heat maps and shit. PID Toolbox does that and a lot more. And I would actually say one of the best facets of PID Toolbox is that you can basically load multiple chunks of a log. You can view, like, you know how when you'll sometimes you get a black box and you'll have fucking, you know, 10 logs. Well, you can basically load all those in. So say you're tuning, right? And every log you took your P term and turned it up 10 and whatever, depending on what you're doing. But as an example, and so every log you turn it up 10, and say you do that 8 times, and each log is 15-20 seconds long. That's all you need to do a step response. You fucking load all 10 of them up, and you can actually see them superimposed on each other with a different color. So you can actually see each log, and it will show you your PID value in a color, and then it shows you the step response for that. And then, like, that's red. You know, your 90p was red, and your fucking, you know, 60p was yellow. And you can actually see what those PID response is doing depending on as you're adjusting your values and logging it. So the cool thing about what Brian's doing, and actually one of the coolest things that I was like, they're starting to figure out how to basically tune in angle mode, so you can literally tune in your bedroom and not have to really worry about losing control, and your ability in terms of a line of sight pilot. You know, if you're not a great line of sight pilot and that's intimidating to you, which it is for many, you know, especially indoors, and especially the type of rig, you know, if you're tuning a 7-inch, you know, that's even more squirrely. So like, but if you can, in a hotel room, right? And so if you could flip it into angle mode, it actually gives you a pretty cool way to keep it fucking under control in a very tight spot and still get the data you need to get a good PID tune. And so I just find it fascinating. It's like he's really starting to show some very cool ways to be able to tune, like, in, you know, on a rainy day, if you got just enough room to get the quad in the air, you know, with a few feet of clearance around it, you know, and that's all you need. And all you're doing is flicking forward, back, left, and right, basically. You're mainly worrying about pitch and roll. You can do some yaw stuff if you're comfortable with that, especially if you're in angle mode. It might be even a little bit more comfortable, but bottom line is you're doing mostly pitch and roll stuff and a bit of yaw stuff, but you don't have to go too crazy with yaw. And you can sit there and literally run through, depending on if, and I don't know, like, I'm assuming I haven't used Quicksilver yet, Perry, so you'll have to tell me about that a little bit. But, you know, Betaflight has their sliders to push shit around. You can also enter numbers, but they have the sliders, and there's methodologies that they're developing as far as that. And I've been actually, I pay attention to it. I've actually been watching people tune Betaflight just so I know what the fuck is going on over there, you know? Yeah. And honestly, like, you know, thinking about it, like, okay, how do we do it without sliders and shit like that as well? And just like
put more sliders in.
Well, you know, in the
cable, and I can plug my quad in and show you the Quicksilver tuning interface if you want to see it. Because they do have Quicksilver style PIDs, or you can switch it to Betaflight style PIDs if you want to, like, put in those that are more
friendly user.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but it's pretty cool because it's all fresh and new. It's not a Starflight, you know, type of a firmware. It's not like Betaflight, EmuFlight, Butterflight, any of those. It's just it's a completely fresh thing. So it's pretty neat.
How is I actually don't want to get too sidetracked on that specifically at the moment.
Yeah, true.
Although I'd like to talk to you more about it. Maybe we should dedicate some time to talk about Quicksilver specifically. Maybe we get one of those cats on with us too, which we should do. I definitely want to check out Quicksilver a little more intimately, personally. But
yeah, I'd like to get Travis on here. Not fast enough. He's jumped into the chat a couple of times, like a while back when he knew I was coming on.
Hell yeah, not fast enough.
Yeah,
is awesome.
have him on as a guest to talk about it and like where it came from and like the beginnings of silverware and his NFE silverware version that he did for the old F-Zero boards.
Yeah, him and like Charlie are made, you know.
What up, Spagoose?
But yeah, man, fucking. So, anyways, just like I've actually been learning with the way. How can I put this? there's tuning philosophy with the way Betaflight's slider system is working. It kind of changes things a little bit. You can approach things a couple different ways than you would traditionally. Not to say you can't do it effectively the same way just without sliders, but it's more about the methodology. But a couple good points have come up, like, because I always tell people, especially when they're tuning big quads, is to lower your I term like down. Like, just don't try to leave your I term at 80 or 90 or whatever the hell it is, like, or even, you know, that, like, especially on a bigger quad, start at like 20. As long, you know, you don't have to have it so loose that you can't really keep it, you know, you're not having a good time keeping control of it, but get it down there, because what they're discovering is that if you have your, you know, when you're trying to tune P and D and get that gain right on your P and D terms, if your I's too high, it fucks shit up. Basically, if the ratio between P and I is too far off, especially when the disparity is low P, high I, you're gonna have wobbles and shit, and you're gonna attribute that to other things. And you know what I mean? And you're just going to have a bad time. You're going to chase your tail. And one of the points that Brian made, and one of the things I watched him recently, was just like, if you try to sometimes, and I've done this personally, you do get in the point where you sometimes chase your tail when you're just trying to balance P and D initially, right? And so it's made me kind of even rethink about how I'm going to approach some things. And I actually was firing up PID toolbox in the 10-inch because I want to make a new tune for some props. But ultimately the point is like, I do recommend starting with a low I term. I still recommend that. But what, you know, most of us I think have a good idea is like, you know, if your PIDs are like, you know, you flash it, maybe you start stock, maybe you tweak it a bit. Well, if you got basically an okay tune, like you don't have major bounce back and no major wobbles or anything, you can basically start with that ratio and not worry about the relationship between the two. Now, traditionally, I would say work out your, you know, make sure your filters are good, do your P and D ratio, keep your I low until you get that sorted, and then tune up P and D together, gain up, right? Which is the gain slider in Betaflight. Gain those two up in ratio, right? But now, and it makes sense to me, if your quad is flying all right and your P and D ratio is not crazy and you're not having major bounce back, just tune up, okay? Tune up and log it. And what she'll say, you got two numbers. You got, I don't know, 40 and 30 for your P and D, right? Use a ratio calculator and go up 20%. And go up in like 20% increments, or 10, whatever you really want to do 10 to 20. And go up in ratio and just gain P and D up together and log that shit and do it like 8 times. So wherever, you know, maybe you go down if you feel like the quad is a little overtuned, maybe you go down in ratio and start lower and then come back up through where you were, but then log that shit, because what's, like I said, what's cool about this fucking PID toolbox is that you can load all those logs, do a step response for all that ratio at various gains. Right? And what you'll see, ultimately, you'll kind of see where your gains actually need to be. And if there's still a little bit of overshoot or over dampening, once you get your gains about right and you're seeing like the best latency, the best response you can get from your PID gain, then tweak your P and D ratio as a fine tune and approach it that way. And then once you get that good, then bring I up. And dial I in, and always do pitch and roll first, and yaw last, in my opinion. And what I tend to do is drop my yaw P down just to make sure it's not causing any global issue, you know. And like to what we were saying before, like if you do a quick yaw, flat yaw, and you fucking rock it, you know, your P gain's probably a little too high, at least to start. So what I usually like to do is I'll just drop 20 points off my P gain when I'm tuning pitch and roll, so I don't have to worry about it, you know, and then bring it back up and make sure it doesn't like rock it when I flat spin or something like that. But it's you know, so I'm honestly rethinking my personal strategy about how to approach tuning with this, and you can literally do this type of tuning in your bedroom, you know, if you got enough space, and especially since basically what they're saying is that generally speaking, angle mode is close enough to get your PID responses right.
Yeah, I'd like to try it sometime. It seems like it would be really beneficial. I've never been much into tuning. I'm one of those that's just like, stock tune is probably good enough. Put my rates in it, it's probably going to be fine. You know, so when I switched to Emu Flight back in the day, it just felt like it flew better out of the box than Beta Flight did. So I liked it. And then same with Quicksilver, it just flew better out of the box. And so I liked it, you know, and a couple of those guys, I showed them some videos, some of the devs, and they're like, oh yeah, drop your eye a little bit, do this and turn off this filter and let me see it. And I bet you it's going to friggin' scream. And it does. Yeah. So it's like, it's not anything where I've dove in and like, I need to do this and I need to do that. It's just, I've gotten a couple of recommendations and I do it. I've never gotten good at tuning ever.
Yeah, Toolbox. What I really love about Toolbox. Now, so back in the day, I tried Toolbox. I was always huge into Plasma Tree, but I had problems with it, and it was way kludgy to install it and get it running back then. And it's gotten a hell of a lot better. But the clutch thing, you know, with Plasma Tree, they do the same exact thing in terms of step response, and for the most part, but Toolbox is way more versatile, and it gives you way more opportunity to do comparison stuff. So if you have something that's good, you can look at what's going on there, and then you can load that, and then you can load whatever you're working on side by side, and you can look at the shit side by side and actually fucking compare. And like I said, with the ability to take 8 to 10 graphs of different PID strengths and log them and look and see what's actually going on, it's pretty fucking dope. Because traditionally with Plasma Tree, they would recommend that, you know, you dump I and D, and you just tune P up as much as you can, and then you bring D up, and then you bring I up, and that's how Plasma Tree would work traditionally. But this dynamic's changing a little bit in the way tuning is working, and I have to say that some of it is directly related to the way sliders work in Betaflight, which is good and bad in my opinion, but it makes sense. Like, it's definitely a little, I don't know. Sometimes I look at the sliders and I totally get all of them, but I don't fucking really know that I totally dig it. To be honest, yeah. You know, I mean, it's not that I hate it either, and I totally understand it. It's just like, oh, Edwin, love you, brother.
Good night, man.
Good night.
Later.
Well, I mean, you can't just say that you beat up your quad too fast and then tuning though. You can literally, if you don't do any tune, if it needs tuning, you could literally burn out your motors at ESC in the first 30 seconds of your flight if you're not careful with it. That's why it's always recommended to do some mention above. When trying to just getting your quad set up, don't just flash software and just, it arms, it hovers, take off and go, because once again, you're bound to burn something out.
I mean, not for nothing, the other thing that a lot of people don't look at is your RC smoothing and how that's affecting, because your RC control signal is what dictates set point, which is what your gyro follows. And if your RC input has jitter, your gyro's jittering the whole fucking time. So if you don't actually look at your fucking RC commands too, and look at how you're smoothing those out, you can run into what you might think is a tuning problem, and it's actually fucking input jitter.
That happened to me once.
Yeah, I've always tried to make sure that I get that to where it's
tracking,
got that dead band or whatever nice and perfect, so you don't see any of that jitter there on your.
Well, they're seeing, especially if you run 50 hertz on Crossfire, you'll see that in your traces sometimes. You'll actually see. So that's the one nice thing about one thing about PID Toolbox is when you're doing your filter plots and some of that stuff, you can actually, they'll give you a low frequency graph, which is like 100 hertz down. And then they give you your, like, whatever range you want to see, like, as a bigger graph, right? And, like, you'll see shit, like, low shit that's, like, coming from Crossfire and shit down there, specifically. It's pretty fucking, I was dead bands, everything. It's pretty cool, but, I mean, you know, some of you guys fly the same shit over, like, build the same quads over and over, basically. Some people kind of, like, have their favorite setup, and they just build that again and again and again. There's absolutely no reason not to tune that ultimately, because even if you ultimately, as long as you're not changing radical components, you're gonna know roughly where the quad needs to be tuning wise or what it can do. At least what that frame can do. But oh, where'd it go?
Oh no.
Sorry, bud.
Deadband. Yeah, I mean, deadband was a way to get around that. RC smoothing. I have a kind of a setup I use on pretty much every quad for crossfire. But I definitely recommend, like, if you're using, like, I don't know, say you get an express LRS thing you're not used to, get a log and take a look at what the fuck's going on with it. And make sure you look at that. Like, Google, this, I have this express LRS thing. What should I set for RC smoothing, and see what people are saying and what people are using? Because, like, there is definitely things that could be considered there as well. But I just know a lot of people struggle to tune, and I definitely want to recommend checking out Pid Toolbox if you don't, and definitely check out his channel, the Pid Toolbox channel, and fucking take a look at those guys. Very cool, very informative. There was actually a bit of one guy was having problems with his 10-inch running my props, actually, fucking the Aeronaut cams. But it was cool to watch that actually and see where they went, how they did the process, and just get a different take on it. But again, Betaflight, blah blah blah. But the last point I always wanted to say is, like, once you do this shit, a lot of times once you clean up your quads tune, you can open up your filters more. Like, you should never really just open up your filters willy-nilly without looking at it. If you do that, you are potentially running, like, there's that fucking less filter, more filter shit. This is a fresh build. Leave that shit alone until somebody looks at it that knows what the fuck they're doing. If you don't, like, seriously, just leave it alone. Tune the quad as best you can. Get somebody to look at that or learn or whatever, and then I always recommend try to make sure your filters are at least right to start with. Tune the quad and then revisit your filters, because once you tune out and clean up your quad, a lot of times some of the shit you've been seeing was just a bad tune. So you can open your filters up now and you get a better, snappier response out of the quad because your fucking tune is now right. But if you have mechanical issues and your filters are set wrong, you're never going to get the tune right. So you got to kind of make sure it's mechanically as good as it can be, adjust filters, get started, because sometimes some of that noise is, like I said, is fucking the tune, and then tune it out, and then readjust your filtering in the end and sweeten it up if you can. But the dope shit is that, this Pid Toolbox gives you a readout of every loop you run. It tells you what the delay is based on how you have the quad set up. So it's telling you 28 milliseconds. This P term gives you 20 milliseconds. This one gives you 14. You can push so far that it starts going basically backwards, and you can hit a point of diminishing returns where you just keep pushing and it doesn't do any better. And then I saw some graphs, and they just might have been bad data, but I saw some graphs where they kept going and it started going backwards and the delay started getting higher. I just think because maybe the tune was just going to shit. I don't know. But that's basically, it's a sick tool. It's not rocket science to use either. But
do you have any examples of it,
Brian? Well, I've showed it a million times. Like the plasma tree graphs, I don't know if I have anything. I don't have any plots. I'd have to pull up.
Well, maybe what we can do is
so I'm gonna get Brian on here.
Yeah, I'll try to get them on and give some demo.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Little school.
But I wanted to touch on it because some of the oddball weird tuning things that, like, Greg experienced with the stupid gummies and shit, and, like, just touch on some of this. Like, it's definitely worth learning, and
well, I wish I knew what was going on with this rig, but like I said earlier, I'm like 90% sure that it's internal to my radio.
What do you think? I mean, when you say internal to the radio, what do you?
What exactly is going on with your rig again right now?
Yeah.
So it's basically fail-safing without fail-safing. It's like just out of the blue, it will start maintaining throttle values and pitch and roll values regardless of my input on the radio, and I can't disarm, can't do anything. And my radio will report telemetry lost, and I will see my signal bars completely gone on the display on the radio, but Crossfire is still connected. I'm still solid green on Crossfire, and I know Crossfire is still connected because I've got Crossfire programmed to cut as my failsafe on the receiver and on the TX module. And the quickest way for me to stop the quad from freaking out or flying to the moon is to just rip out my Crossfire module.
And let it fail safe.
As soon as I rip the Crossfire module off, then it legit fail safes and drops to the ground. And when I snap the Crossfire module back in, it immediately picks right back up to whatever values that it was thrown at it. It just throttles up right back to where it was at before. Even if I'm disarmed at that point, it still keeps on sending. So I think the radio itself is sending stupid values. It's the jumper, the T16, and it had problems with ribbon cables when they first came out. Like the ribbon cables would get loose and they would short out, and all of a sudden this switch would quit working, or this switch would actually start controlling this switch instead because the ribbons were making contact in weird spots, or the display screen would cut out. And so I ripped it apart and replaced the ribbon cables with the better ones a few years ago. And then even since then, probably a year ago, I had another switch issue where I had to go back in and reseat the ribbon cable again. And now I've got a couple of display lines across the display screen, that ribbon cable is wigging out. And then just recently, Saturday, it did that to me where I armed and it immediately started throttling up and twitched and freaked out and shot sideways across the parking lot and hit a parking bumper and then flipped upside down and just throttled to the moon. But fortunately it was upside down, and couldn't disarm, couldn't nothing. I powered the radio off. No, I don't. No, I don't. I wish I had. I need to get a Tango 2 Pro because with as much traveling as I do, that would be the radio for me.
The guaranteed thing is definitely going to be just change the radio out. Keep the module in, change the radio out. If you have no problems, it's definitely the radio. As far as issues I've seen on radios, one of the big things is Hall gimbals. If they get shit in them, sometimes they can act just crazy. Sometimes you gotta just clean them. Check the fucking pins on those gimbals. The connectors. A lot of times, JST pins. Check those fucking connectors. But the big one, depending
spray those hose now.
Depending on, if you pull your module regularly. Check the fucking backside of the pins in the JR bay, the ones that actually go into the Crossfire. Make sure there's not a busted fucking back end of a pin. I've had that happen.
Actually, just today when it happened to me twice when I was flying, those are the only 2 times I've pulled the module since I put it in a couple of years ago. And plus, if it was the gimbals, then that wouldn't be a reason for my radio to start screaming telemetry lost, and then telemetry recovered again, and then telemetry lost. And you know what I mean? That's just,
unless it's switching from and to back to the Crossfire module or something.
That's I think it's something in the radio like that where it's just it's.
Well, that's what I was saying. JR Bay, man, that connection would be my first place to look. Because if you have a shitty connection in the bay, it's gonna do that. If you're not, maybe it could.
Well, but except when he pulls the module, it truly fails safe.
Right.
Yeah, because then I'm losing power.
Because you're losing everything. Right. Yeah.
Odd.
If the radio is showing,
bend them back in.
To me, if the radio's losing, if the Crossfire's got link, and the radio is losing telemetry and link, that means that there's a disconnect between the module and the radio.
Right. And somehow or another,
have you dropped your radio, or do you take out your TX module out of your radio when you're putting stuff away?
No.
He's only done it twice for the last several years.
Yeah.
You haven't dropped it at all, right? Or nicked it somewhere?
No, I mean, I dropped it probably a year ago or so and snapped one of the switches off, but I haven't noticed this problem until Saturday. it did it once, and then today it did it twice.
Check the pins and make sure, like, kind of bend them a little bit so making contact.
I
also check itself, the JR
I mean, it's
adapter
the more we
itself,
talk
make sure
about
the
it,
pins are not worn
the
out,
more it sounds like it's
side.
something to do with that JR bay.
Yeah, and this thing is chock full of ribbon cables everywhere. You know, there's push in, crimp down ribbons. So it's probably got a ribbon specific for connecting to the bay.
Well, I was just gonna say, I would just crack the bitch open, inspect the pins. Like Tech was saying, double check that the fucking pins are, like, the seating of the pins has the right amount of tension. Sometimes you do have to bend them or look at, maybe one of them got bent. That happens, you know, a little bit off. But check that, and then I would just reseat every fucking ribbon cable in the bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
even in some weird cases, the fact that I mean, in Florida, gets humid.
Yeah.
All those pins, those JR pins are what, they made out of brass, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
But
they can cause oxidation too, and doesn't make proper contact either on the adapter side.
Yeah,
or
they can get oxidized as well. Because my guess is you got a ground or a telemetry connection that's potentially dodgy. But coming back to gimbals and things, anytime you have a ground go bad and there is current with nowhere to go, it's going to find a way to go home, right?
Yeah.
And so, as much as you might not think like a gimbal connection or something could cause an issue, if the ground is problematic, it could. You know what I mean? All depends on how the whole fucking radio is put together, what the topology is, and all that shit, right? But if you're sending signal to something and it's locking up, so to speak, like, you're sending that, right? But I agree with you on the telemetry and RSSI display. It still could be something fucking backfeeding or something, but Baller Beach Trip, whoa, Forevermore, what's up, bro?
But
so
Goose
yeah, man,
says it sounds like his old JST module that was just worn out.
That very well could be it.
I'd like to snap it into another.
Well, again,
really
that's
me, though, is,
that's what you gotta do. That's what you've got to do. If you don't, I mean, if it was me, I would have the bitch open already and be doing what I've already said. If that doesn't make any change, then grab another fucking radio. That's your next step. And then if it still happens, then you know it's in the fucking module or something else, right?
Right.
But
I wanted to try to get it to do it again tonight in my room. Like, I took the props off because if I could get it to do it.
What kind of crossfire antenna do you use?
Immortal T on this one.
And it's 100% good, no bad grounds, no breaks.
No, it's beat to shit.
If it's beat to shit, that could be your problem.
Nah.
Absolutely. Ask Matty Blunts. We went through this in Detroit. If you have a fucked up, like your ground is missing or something, it could very well be the problem. Like,
well, if the wire leading from the antenna to the UFL's fucked up, maybe, but
yeah, no, mine's just like
mine look like fine gentleman with a curly mustache.
At the end of well, if you're talking about on the quad side, or I'm talking about the transmitter.
Oh no, the transmitter side's perfect. Yeah,
talking about the transmitter.
Perfect.
If you have so right at the T, a lot of times right around the T or any place where you tend to bend it, you can break the fucking shielding over time. And a lot of times it will happen up by the T or down by the UFL. Okay.
That is something that I do. When I put it in my bag, it has to bend up like this.
So just watch it. I'm just putting it out there because we went through a whole thing recently and it turned out to be it broke right up at the T.
Yeah.
So just random fail safes, control freak out. Yeah.
Yeah. What I was hoping to have happen is have it happen while I'm here in the room, like screwing with it, so that I could unplug the quad really quick and plug in my tiny whoop, leaving the radio alone, and snap the JR module back in and see if it freaks the tiny whoop out too, just to make sure that it's not something going on. I still don't think it could possibly be anything in the quad, but
I mean, why not just try to make it happen on the tiny boot?
Well, because it never has. Like, literally, it happened Saturday, and then I flew 10 packs through my tiny whoop right afterwards, and it didn't happen on it. So, like, it's only happened when flying this quad, which, I don't really believe in coincidences, but You know,
I don't
like
know.
snapping the module out and then having it actually fail safe and putting it back in, and it just picked right up where it left off, full throttle.
Rat, if you can twist the top of a T, it's bad. Correct. That's exactly right. That's fucking. I mean,
no, my
your whoop
my
is
antenna twists
Crossfire.
on the connection. Yeah. I'm running an Alien Whip Zero, and I modified the code a little bit so that it would accept Crossfire, and I got a little Crossfire Nano in it.
Were you running S-Bus on it? Or
Dude, you could have something going on the RX side then.
I mean,
that sounds familiar to. I had the same issue like that. One of my quads, the receiver was getting telemetry loss or recovery, and I swapped out the antenna, was getting the same issue. Someone told me, let me just swap out the receiver, see if that sees what caused that. Sure enough, it was a receiver. That's why, Chad brought up something. I had a similar situation on one setup. So even
plus, remember, Crossfire is 2 wires, so it's possible you can have good control link, but then have telemetry go bad and lose something there.
Yeah.
Crossfire is dependent upon 2 wires, basically. You know what I mean? To work properly. So,
or at least to work with your telemetry. Like I've got the Zero kind of hacked to where it can run with just the TX pad.
Yeah, but you're running S-Bus. You're not running
Well,
Crossfire.
no, it's not running. No, I'm running Crossfire. It's not running S-Bus. It's literally running Crossfire control, but without the telemetry. Like, yeah, it's.
Well,
they were able to get it to work that much, but the Zero board just doesn't support the telemetry, so there's no use for the RX wire on it.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that the Zero boards didn't have.
Oh yeah, I thought everybody was running on S-Bus, dude.
That's what most people did. You had to go into the source code and hack it if you wanted to try to get it to run Crossfire.
Okay.
Otherwise, you could have an S-Bus build.
Because by default, Crossfire will flip out if it's not proper. You know what I mean? Normally. Okay. Yeah. So you guys were modifying firmware. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because you can run 1 wire, but Crossfire likes to have both sides connected. At least.
Yeah, well, especially now, like the newest version of it will freak out, and because it runs checks on itself. If you don't have that second wire hooked up, it'll fail safe or something. Like there was a big thing going on about that, and Choppy was like, well, duh, you're supposed to be running both wires. Like,
I mean, he's not wrong. Yeah, he's not wrong.
Not wrong.
Fucking hell, yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, bro, that's the only thing you just kind of the monkey wrench you just threw in there is if you can't create it on another quad, you got a choice. You can either change your quad and make it happen, or you can change your radio and make it or not make it happen, and you know, to isolate it. But I mean, I don't know. How old is your module?
Well, the module is only like probably a year and a half to 2 years old, versus the radio is like 3+ years old, and these radios are prone to having problems.
Well, I mean, radio sounds pretty fucking sus if the shit screen's going crazy and shit, but I mean, from ribbon cables. But
yeah,
it's always hard when you get in a situation where you've got multiple things that could actually be wrong. Like, because if your radio's sussy, you need to get that out of there, get that out of the equation somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, if not, it's the quad sussy.
Yeah. And really, like I said, like with as much traveling as I do, and since my Tiny Whip's running Crossfire, I have no reason not to get a Tango 2 Pro anyhow. Like Pro just because for the folding gimbals to throw it in my bag so I don't break one. Like, but I have no reason not to get a Crossfire only radio, so might as well.
Tech.
Yes.
Did you have you? I don't know if I want to play this. Did you watch that DJI chipset video? You put in the news.
It's not a video per se, though. It was a documentation by the chipset
Of what's in the Walk Cell digital system.
Should get to some videos. It's getting late.
I am.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, duh.
Duh.
To watch some videos.
The videos.
Videos down because the video killed the radio star. Yeah, I did.
Vididios.
Videos.
We can keep
Do it now.
It comes.
Now, get in the video. Hit the play button.
The Waldo.
What up,
I hear
Waldo?
that. I gotta charge some whoop batteries, don't I?
Jumps in as soon as we cut him out. Hey, Waldo's in the chat.
Heyo.
Heyo.
Kitty.
Yeah, I just got home, so he's all in my face.
Watch this video. This is nuts, bro.
I love your background, Waldo.
FPV.
Collect my animal. Oh, where is she?
Joel,
What's up?
is that a picture or is that something, your background?
What do you? It's a picture.
No, I'm asking, is it a picture or is it a backdrop? What do you have up behind you?
It's a picture I'm using with my green screen.
Gotcha. And what are you doing in OBS?
No, just fucking what the link I clicked on.
Oh,
Like
Zoom.
just Zoom.
The Zoom.
This is doing a good job. Your lighting is good, must be good.
It's his
Yeah,
big
there's a-
giant BQE beach towel.
That's what I was wondering. I was like,
with
it
the
looks good.
with the cat bed.
With the cat.
Yeah.
bed.
Like kitty cat.
Oh fuck, he's gonna bite me.
Oh, he's one of those asshole cats.
Kinda.
Ooh, I just gave myself more light too. Look at that.
Ooh.
Feel like
Yeah.
Herbal Essences commercial here for you guys.
Yeah, I took Thursday and Friday off, so I'm kicking off a long weekend here.
Oh shit.
Crack that banquet.
Oh, shit. There you go.
Hey,
What you got?
you know, if you slid my graphic in the Zoom directly over top of Waldo's graphic, then maybe I could like dangle some of my hair off of the top of mine there and like get it to.
What you need to do, I think what we need to do is we get some footage of both of y'all on the green screen and we superimpose your hair on Waldo.
Oh man, that looked ridiculous.
Well, we gotta get. Well, what we need is we have to get. You have to get a fucking one of them green tracky suits so we can, get rid of your
Crop the
body.
face out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just but keep the beard. Just paint your neck and the face green to go with the tracky suit and a green screen, and we'll just it'll just be your beard and mustache and hair that will all be left
On Waldo.
on Waldo.
That'd be great.
Or
Yeah, I'm
be
pretty hairless.
Or you can put my beard on his face and parallels on here. There you go. And those colors be blonde and black
Now,
and gray.
I wonder if your beard was on Waldo, would we need a decoder ring to understand Waldo? Like, is the beard actually the culprit here?
It could be.
It's a possibility. Yes, I concur with that one. What it does, it actually causes the unit matrix of the code to actually gets defaulted back down to an older version of itself, which it causes to, crash all known systems from here
When it
to
crosses the hypotenuse.
and it fail saves at a 3.154 or pi, as is
Like
known.
the woman in the red dress
Come on, man.
Yes, with Tom Hanks.
with Tom Hanks.
I feel like I look like NoHo Hank on here. If anybody watches Barry.
No.
No.
You look disappointed. Let me get a can. Look in your can. What are you drinking? Coors?
Did you watch Kenobi?
Yeah.
Oh.
No spoiler. The lightsaber battle is awesome.
Amazing.
Oh. Don't spoil it. That's a spoiler.
But I didn't know they had a lightsaber battle. Oh.
Yeah.
Queen Yoda.
Yeah, it's Yoda and Qui-Gon going at it. It's fucking insane. It's the Yoda puss.
The Yoda puss.
Yoda puss.
Yoda.
Dude, there's one down there, he looks really evil, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Last night I was texting
Double A,
Yoda,
what's
or
up?
texted these Yoda pictures to fucking Waldo at like fucking 12:30 at night, and there's nobody else awake. And I was just I was in tears, fucking laughing. Especially the flying baby one, dude. That one,
That was creepy.
it was so creepy, but it was so hilarious at the same time because it was so fucked up. I was like, oh my god. I was all baked, fucking just generating random shit.
It kind of looked like the Ally McBeal dancing baby, but contorted.
I think so. I think that's him. I'm not too sure. It's just some random hobo. With
Double A! What's up, man?
Hi, Kim.
Good to see you. Kim! What's good, fam? How y'all doing tonight? You guys surviving the heat?
Dude, it cooled down here pretty good. It's like in the 60s right
It's
now.
beautiful.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, dude, it was like 90 something today. It was like 96, and it dropped down to what is it now? It's like perfect out tonight.
69.
It's 72 here right now, but it feels like a nice 68. It's supposed to get down to 61 here tonight.
Yeah, I got home and just opened all the doors and windows and shit.
I love
Let it
doing
cool
that.
off in here.
Yeah. Go-kart ripping, bro.
Oh, is that Doom Rider?
was here, so I catch my weekly dose of videos by watching.
Dude.
Unfortunately, show spoiler for me.
Hey. Sorry. Fucking cat just tried to eat a 20x20 flight controller.
There you go. You don't have to worry about the cat posting anymore.
Is it from a Roto-Risco? No failsafe?
No, dude, I broke the top plate on that fucker, and then I took the guts out and moved them into my Primal 5, and then I was fighting with that all morning before work. This bitch.
You know, the struggle is real when you're trying to get your shit done before work.
Oh, my quad just did it. I just got it to do it. Radio said telemetry lost. I just disarmed, and my motors are still armed. Oh, telemetry recovered. No, telemetry lost again.
Yeah,
Not play with the jar though.
the problem I'm having with this one I've never seen before, and I couldn't find a solution on YouTube or nothing. It's bound and everything, and it's happening on two different receivers. It's bound, and then when I try and arm, it goes back and forth, red light, green light, red light, green light. And I've tried to like rebind it and swapped out receivers.
What radio?
Tango 2 Crossfire Nano.
And it's up to date?
Yeah.
On Emu or what?
Yep. Emu, it's a really old flight controller because I thought the problem was something else. I thought the problem was a flight controller, so I swapped out the flight controller, and now I'm getting that. Like, chasing my tail with this fucking quad. Like, yesterday before work, I completely took it apart and put it back together. And every time I soldered something new on, like a motor or VTX or whatever, I was plugging it in because I was getting, like, it looked like it was in DFU mode.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I totally rebuilt the fucker before work, and everything was working fine until I got to the receiver, and now it's doing that. You son of a bitch.
Well, I have seen where if you have a SD card content mismatch, you can get some weird shit sometimes with Crossfire.
Yeah.
If you're not up to date, like especially on a Tyrannus. If you have a Tyrannus, it's wonky.
That's what happened when I built that BQ Emu banger. I had to update the SD card, and that's what ended up being the problem with that one. So like, that's why I know I'm up to date. I just updated like, you know, a few weeks ago.
Harry, what happens if you fucking just you have props off or on?
They're off.
Good man. What happens if you just like don't have the quad arm and shake the piss out of it? Like, can you get it to drop telemetry?
Yeah, it's dropped telemetry while it was disarmed.
What I'm saying is,
well
so set your radio down and just beat the shit out of the quad and see if it fucking does anything weird. But leave it on. Don't even arm it. Just leave it. Just see if you can get it to drop telemetry. Because you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't. Arming isn't required for telemetry.
Before you said that, I've had the quad just sitting still, and when it lost telemetry, I went ahead and hit my disarm switch, and then started beating the crap out of the radio, and then it all of a sudden got telemetry back and actually disarmed.
Huh.
Like, so that was with
Beating the crap
quad
out of the radio?
sitting on the desk and
Right.
me away from it.
Well, if the motors are spinning, it's going to be vibrating, and if it's on a hard desk, it's going to be vibrating quite a bit.
True.
I would have it on my bed or a pillow. You're not. Another thing you can do is you can turn off. I don't know if you can do it in Quicksilver, but on other things you can set PID to 0 at min throttle, which I love for this shit. If you go into CLI and you set the PID at min throttle equals 0, whatever, set that on. When you just arm the quad, it won't go nuts if it's just sitting there idled, and you can even shake the quad and it won't go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Perry, if you're putting it on a better or whatever, could you see what your quad's sleep number is for me, please?
Yeah, for sure. I actually have stayed in a hotel one time where they had sleep number beds in the hotel, which was like really weird.
How was it?
One side
I've never
didn't work,
liked them. Yeah,
so couldn't tell you.
I've also
my wife got the side that did work.
I'm not.
And actually, she didn't like it, so.
Yeah, double A was just saying that it sounds like it might be a bad receiver.
I've had bad receivers do something similar, but not quite like what's happening with yours. Like I've had receivers not fail safe, but like the quad will remain in the attitude and direction that I was going as my last input, and then it would like come back a few seconds later. It's weird.
Yeah. Well,
like anytime that's happened, it's always been one of two things.
When you first said that, before
bad antenna or bad receiver.
When you
Usually it's a bad antenna.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it did. It would maintain, when I noticed it today, it maintained the attitude and everything that it had and went straight into the ground. And
back in the day, there was a point
upside down.
There was a point where the filters were just like the stock filters were just high enough that if you clip the quad real good, that same basic shit would happen because the quad would start oscillating and it would just feed back, and you couldn't get it to stop. Even the only way to get it to stop was to disarm. It would just want to fly straight ahead at whatever basically it was doing. It wouldn't. You could dump the throttle and it would not dump throttle because the oscillation was literally just keeping the motors revved, and it was literally a filtering problem. Believe it or not, but. You have a telemetry issue, so I'm guessing, bad RX or connection at this point. If it's only one quad, but
well, I only have two to choose from: my Tiny Whoop and this 5-inch.
But if you're banging on the radio and it's coming and going, then it could be a connection in the radio. Yeah, that's why I said you got to bang the quad and the radio, see which one is because it could be coincidental. Like I said, if the quad was sitting on a hard table running idled, the vibration could be causing it and it could have been coincidental. You know what I mean?
I just put No Ho Hank in Discord so you guys can see who I was talking about. Who I'm looking like. Yeah, and if you guys have HBO, check out Barry. Shit's hilarious.
I don't have that, but I have Pirate Bay.
Fuck.
Pirate Bay.
Fucking, it's about a hitman that wants to get out of being a hitman and start being an actor, and Henry Winkler's in it and shit. It's fucking so funny. Oh, and Bill Hader's Barry.
I started watching Motherland, Fort Salem, I think it's called. I forgot to realize stuff.
Does that not look like me right now?
Pretty funny, yeah. Yeah.
They put it on Discord or?
You should.
Yeah,
That's what you should do is recreate that on your green screen and send it to me so I could put it in.
It doesn't look like him. You should.
I mean, I could probably key him out, but
yeah. His character on that show is just ridiculous.
What's the name of the show?
Barry.
Just Barry? Okay. I don't really have TV. Everything is done through streaming.
bang all the things. That is right, John. You know, the sure way to fix something is to fonz it. I thought you guys learned it. If you fonz it, you're gonna dude, like you're gonna figure it out. Just give it a good fonz.
Dude, I've been trying that with this. I fucking punched the flight controller.
Bro, I used to have a fucking Rhodes piano on stage that every once in a while it would just go ape shit crazy, and I would just walk over and fonz it, and it would be fine. Like,
So that's what I did to the radio, and it made it.
Or doing an Italian repair, as they call it.
Yeah, I think tomorrow while I have off, I'm probably gonna rip this quad apart, and I got like a spare ESC and flight controller right here. I'm gonna swap out and try.
don't smash your gummies.
No.
Smash your gummies.
Yeah, no, I was listening to that earlier. It actually made me think about that being the problem, and I came home and loosened them. I plugged it in, and I'm still getting the same thing.
Listen to this stream. Went home and loosened their gummies.
Eat them, but don't
Lick them.
Or you sick on
You can, like I said, fucking
Speaking of the gummies, Spagoos, you're in the chat. Have you gotten a chance to try and loosen your gummies? Spagoos is having the same exact issues as I am.
Well, that's why I texted him too. I was like, yo, you guys are actually having the same. It's so cute. These guys bought the same exact ESC and the same exact flight controller and had the same exact fucking problem.
Hey, at least one of us figured it out. Hopefully that's his issue.
Well, like I
too.
said, it's
Nothing
just like
serious.
my Radix rig actually has a broken arm, and I actually need to get Woodchuck or somebody to cut me some arms for this quad. Actually, Woodchuck, are you still in the chat? If I have a frame that we want to make open source, can we do that?
Still in there.
Totally put it.
Sure you could.
I need to ask him that. Yeah, I've actually, it's been on my. So I have the cut plans for the Helio RC Gatesman frame that was created after my friend Ryan passed away, and I have all the CAD files for that, and was told I could make it open source, and so I wanted to do that at some point.
That was a pretty little tree
Well,
dive.
Woodchuck is the man.
Speaking said he's sick of that quad. Dude, it is one of those kind of problems that if you've been fucking, especially Betaflight, trying to figure out, because that's a thing, man. Like, God bless it, but Betaflight, there's so many possibilities. You know, it's like, and then just, you know, quads in general are tough enough as it is. You got ESC settings and all that other shit, you know, that could be boning you, different D shots, blah, blah, blah. DMAG.
Give Chad all your D shots.
Ooh.
And all your D shots.
Don't be jealous, bitch.
And how is whoever's video this is not getting lost flying over all those trees so far out?
Yeah. You gotta be up on like an observation tower.
He them damn hillbillies from around the neck of the woods, so he knows his neck of the woods.
Strategic placement and knowing the area well.
Love it. Oof. She was close.
Floppins. Banging trees.
Bang somebody's mom at the end.
Heyo.
Heyo.
Yeah, that's fire, bro.
Knows like where all of these little holes are.
Yeah, he came
She
real close to fucking clipping that one tree. Holy shit.
Who knows how many times he's fucking crashed just to learn those fucking moves.
Yeah, you could tell this is a spot this dude flies often.
Yeah, who is it?
Easy 3K.
Easy 3K.
He's making it look easy. Look at that gyro flow.
Links in the chat.
Is you? Meow.
No, not him, but his link.
Oh.
Oh yeah, there it is.
I mean, he's already got, huge votes for me because he's drum and bass, so.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, give me a little bit of fucking.
Yeah, that's why I added. I was like, this guy's got spang. He's
And
got
drum and
sick
bass.
lines.
Yeah.
He's got drum and bass.
I'm with
He's
it.
getting on the playlist tonight.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a pack just fight about bachata. See how that sounds. Straight Spanish music. I'm gonna make it happen.
Dude.
His video says.
All right,
he's
everybody's
running
game
the,
of quad trick for next week's got to be 1 minute of flying to the cha-cha.
No.
I will never fly FPV again before I do that.
Says he's running the Revolto SD with Falco X.
The Revolt?
So flight one.
A non-existent
Flight none?
FC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Flight 1 Revolto SD with Falco X.
It must be like a 3-year-old
Look at that
setup.
guy.
Well,
That
he's
he waited
running
2 years to get.
a Rush Blade 60 amp ESC.
Oh.
It felt nasty. Couldn't even do it for more than like 3-4 minutes. So, what do we get?
Got Will Brown.
What up there, yo, bruh?
Is that Willy Wonka
Oh.
on the chocolate factory?
Yo, so you guys fucked with Gyroflow yet?
Yeah, I was playing around with it the other day with some footage that I recorded mounting a GoPro on my bike and going for a ride just to mess around. I actually really like it. I'm gonna use it for Cine whipping.
Wait, actually, I have a question for y'all, Raz. Whatever happened to the anamorphic?
Oh, I still have it.
Have you used it?
Not really.
Ooh.
Like it's sitting right next to me.
The fuck, bro? Yo, and the thing is, actually,
I should play with it.
well, I was gonna say, like, I would be keen to see that gyro float because since it's a fixed focus anamorphic, right? You don't get breathing. So when you focus a lot of anamorphics,
Yeah.
it breathes, and your actual stretch, the actual crop, like the frame changes. Like that's what they call it, the stretch changes, right? So
Yeah, you gotta change it and
you get
like
it-
DaVinci and stretch it.
Well, no, not just that part. I'm saying as you actually focus the lens, it's constantly shifting. So
Yeah.
when you focus far, or near, when you're focused near, a lot of times it will be like 2x on the anamorphic. But when you focus far, it might be like 1.8, right?
Yeah.
So when you try to stabilize that, it's a nightmare because they're looking for a basically fixed frame area that you can fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so, but with that one you got, since it's fixed, it's a fixed focal length, right? And it doesn't change. I bet we could come up with some cool shit with that, man. Like, I think that would be really dope.
Yeah, I should play with that this week while I'm off.
Because right now,
Hey,
I'm trying to gyroflow Black Magic footage.
Yeah.
I just printed, I was going to show you guys earlier. We got derailed into the gutter. I printed a fucking GoPro mount that's super short that you could put on a camera for using it for gyroflow. For like throwing a 6 up there, or sorry, a 9 or 10 or 8 or whatever. Fucking. But you should try it. I would be interested to see what you could do with that, Joel, because fucking.
would be cool to see.
Well,
How that would turn out.
it's still pretty beta as far as I can tell. If you want to run the stabilization in Resolve as a plugin, you still have to run it through the Gyroflow app. But like for GoPros and all that shit, you can run right in the Gyroflow app, right? And with this, so when this, what I would do, it would be interesting with this footage. It would be interesting to create a profile. You would have, so what you would have to do is record, make a lens profile in Gyroflow, de-stretch it, and then fucking, God, that's weird.
Like do it in Gyroflow and then put it in the DaVinci and stretch it.
Well, that's what I was trying to
The
think.
Goose, have a good one, brother.
Think through. Good night, brother.
Later, bro.
Good night, man.
Double A, it's because he gets low.
Does get low. Plus, he's just got that steam about it.
Or hand.
Oh, why is not making? Why are they not making a big deal?
I'm gonna grab another beer real quick.
Probably just because they haven't noticed.
Why is the community making?
Yeah, but then he replied later on, ****, not making a big deal. So like he meant to put not.
Oh, okay.
Why are they not making a big deal? Yeah, because they just haven't noticed. Bill Bros, freaking, yeah.
He's just tasty.
Yeah.
Every time I have
he's
been
not-
to Baltimore and flown with those cats, I have come back a way better pilot.
I love Will.
Those guys are crazy.
Bill Bros juicy flicks are fucking untouchable.
They're just nasty, man. They're just nasty. And like I said, he's got this like elegance about his.
Yeah.
I like. It just looks good.
Yeah, and all those guys, like the ones that you don't hear as much about, you know, or see as much from, all those guys that are up there in that DMV crew, they all rip.
They all are nasty, dude. Nasty. A lot of talent up there in Baltimore. Shout out. Little bro, Baltimore crew.
Fly DMV.
That.
Dude, you know, there's a lot of talent that nobody knows about is fucking the Chicago guys. Like, there's like at least 3 super sick ass pilots that I think don't get enough attention. Like if you watch the bot battles this week, Franco Deadbot and Dan Z came up and flew the abandoned mall this last week, and Dan Z's in the finals for the bot battles this week.
Both those dudes rip.
Yeah. Dadbot rips.
Well, make sure you watch that shit because I seen
Dadbot
like
in Kansas City.
Nah, he's in Chicago area.
I post up on their stream once in a while for the Super Critical.
We had I got to see Dan's video that he's submitting this week for the bot battle, and it is fucking sick. Like it's so good. I went on after he showed it to me. I went on to Wikipedia for the mall and changed the owner to Dan Z. Somebody must have like Google Alerts set up for that shit. Like I'm glad I took a screenshot of it because within 10 minutes they changed it back.
Speaking of bots battle, it was like the final, probably I guess maybe a month ago, was down to 2 Florida guys, Danish Stallion and somebody else. Who was it?
Oh yeah.
Get out.
But I never knew. I didn't see who won it. I meant to ask Danish while he was in the chat earlier.
I believe it was Danish.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was him and another Florida cat, and I can't remember who the other one was.
Florida people.
Yeah, Artie's here.
We got all
Double
those.
A.
We got all those mountains down there to fly
I
around.
know, bro. But no, it's definitely. Let's not forget the anti-turtle mode, Spanish mods.
Yes. I call that shit the quad goblins, because it just reaches right out the trees and grabs you.
I don't know where exactly. That or initiate the walk of shame mode. I still remember the first time I hit that shit. I thought I landed on grass. Oh, it's nothing. I can take off. Bullshit. I walked over. The freaking thing is in a rat's nest and fucking Spanish moss.
Giant Spanish moss afro on the ground that's shaking.
This shit is nasty, dude.
It's annoying to take off because it's so stringy. It gets stuck to everything, bro.
Dude, I had a quad hung up in that stuff probably like 30 feet up. And so I zip tied a rope to the bottom of another quad and just flew it straight into the same mess of moss so I could use it as a grappling hook and pull the other one down.
Yeah, it's like no choice, bro.
It worked, yeah.
Yeah, we tried, dude. One time, me and Dragon got, I think it was Dragon got his fucking quad stuck 40 feet up in a tree, and I was trying to fly line over top of the tree, fucking all slow, and it was fucking like 9 o'clock at night, so we had no light. Like we're trying to fucking string this fucking shit over it. Fishing pole, bro.
Yeah.
It's the worst when you got a quad that won't come fucking down.
Have you ever done that? Like when you've been somewhere, like not in your, like your comfort zone, like outside of your comfort zone, and you're like, just for whatever reason, you put one on the roof of somewhere.
Yeah.
Get one in a tree.
Dude, getting one in the tree at the end of the day is the absolute worst. It's like,
no shit. That's
It's
that
like
happened to me my first trip to the White Building, like the White Office Building here in Atlanta.
Mhm.
I actually think it's like kind of untouchable right now. Like they may be tearing it down or something.
Right.
Something's going on over there. Anyway.
Well, then we got to go there tomorrow while I'm still here.
Dude, Sandy Springs, bro. Me and the kids will be there. Tell me what time.
There you go. Give him the pep talk before you get out the car. If you move one fucking hair with the living snot out of you, and then you smile, okay, kids, have fun.
Be like, this dude's quad has been freaking out for a few days, so be prepared to dodge.
Dive, dodge, dip.
Dude, I put in a gnarly pine tree there that was like so like it was the hardest quad I've ever got out of a tree to do. It's crazy, but it took it was like pitch black when we found it.
Dude, that's what the worst is. The quad's up there dying. Like if your beeper's fucking going off and you like just want it to like fucking, you know, but you're relying on the lights for your targeting because all you got is some LEDs you're trying to target, and fuck, bro, it's such a mess.
It happened to AJ Maz last year. He had a quad that we were trying to get down and just killing the shit out of the battery trying to get it out of the tree.
I blew the, like, I thought it was totally gonna catch on fire, but I blew the 6-inch getting it stuck in a fucking tree. That sucked. And then I had to throw shit at it. And then some dude who was jogging came by and saw me struggling and was like, "You need a hand?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so we took turns throwing shit at it for a good while before we finally got that fucking thing to come down, dude.
I saw a video the other day of some dude that got his quad stuck in some moss or something in the tree, and so his buddy is lining up to try to knock it out with another quad, and he hit it. And homeboy's quad fell, but then they start laughing and they pan the camera back up.
His quad's stuck.
Other dude's quad is now stuck in the same spot.
That almost had similar to what happened to us. Remember Chad with my quad getting stuck up there, and Kyle had to use his quad to get the shot.
Yeah.
And, I have a local friend of mine is that we have a joke going around because he's always making fun of me because sometimes I'll pancake on the floor because I kind of fly low. So I come out of some weird moves, I'm kind of low. And I said, yeah, but at least I don't get my quad stuck on a tree. And dude, this guy for life with me, bro, is like clockwork. Every time we go out, he gets stuck on a tree. There's like, it just has to happen. All the trees, he gets always stuck on. And it isn't like even a low tree, it's a high tree. So you got to spend there like an hour or two towards the end of the night and then come the next morning and take it down because we're running out of daylight. Ooh, it's so pretty.
It's
pretty. This is definitely Florida.
Cornwall. It's the Cornwall.
Beautiful.
I don't see any corn.
It's right there, bro. Look between
It's
your
right there
toes,
on the
man.
wall. Is it right there on the
toes.
wall?
Look between the toes.
Oh shit.
That's a pretty sick little.
Yeah, that's a lot of stone.
That's the ballers.
I mean, it's big enough for a quad to fit. So.
Yeah, no.
It's pretty
Surprised
hard
his
for
balls
that.
Trust your radio and everything and your video.
Yeah, you don't want to go
Yeah.
out there with your radio occasionally freaking out.
The quad fit. I don't know about that 5 gigahertz though.
Yeah.
That 5.4 gigahertz barely fit through there.
Yeah. To do it again?
Looks like it. Nope.
Nope.
I made it once. I ain't doing it again.
I got one. That's good enough for
One
life.
good shot. That's all I need.
That's all I need is one shot.
Hey Perry, did I tell you that about that Back to the Outback movie I was watching with the kid the other day?
I don't think so, huh?
There's it takes place in Australia, but there's an alligator trying to get back home to the mountains.
Yeah, you did tell me about that. Trying to get home to the mountains.
Reminded me of them Florida mountain gators.
He's a fucking mountain gator? That's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Hit it in. Do the
Like-
roar.
Shout out
My
to the
girl and the
mountain.
kid were so confused when I was like, "Is this in Florida?"
Shout out to those mountain people.
Fucking did it. He did it. He's lying inside the hole. At least he was lying inside the hole.
That's a beautiful spot. It would definitely suck to fuck that up.
Double A says, Chad Artie, I might need you to build the next IO. Need some that have been there making what others will rave over. This year, Marcus, Phil, and I, as well as a number of great peeps, built 22 with more.
Huh.
Oh, already, bro. It's gotta be, you know, stage hands, lots of lights, lots of drop ceilings, and
Drop
3 hours. Then 3 hours of drum and bass.
Oh yeah, there's.
Yeah, dude.
Am I allowed to put a PA in there?
Oh yeah.
Chad needs 3 semi-trucks just for his freaking sampling gear with all his cables.
Did you make it this year, Chad?
I didn't go to IO now.
Uh,
I didn't go this year. I don't have any fucking extra cash, dude. I can't fuck around. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to go break the law. That would, because I would have gone and broke the law. So I just didn't want to do it.
It could be right next door. Chad's like, nah, if I open the door, it's gonna let the AC out.
No.
The electric bill's gonna go up. I ain't got the cash for that shit.
That's absolutely. I'm outside like all the time. I love the heat. I fucking love the heat. I hate the cold, man.
yeah, same.
I like the cold when I'm sleeping at night. Otherwise, I want to be fucking warm. Like,
Big same. I'd rather sweat than shiver, man.
What does that meme say that I saw today? It's like, remember to drink lots of water and stay indoors from 11 a.m. until November 2nd.
all right. Fucking now. Now, I will say, you gotta remember, bro. I was out doing shed tours for fucking years, in the heat all day, every day, humping gear, loading semis. Like, I actually got used to the heat. Now, there's some places that will fuck you up, like the Dallas Starplex. Dallas will fuck you up.
Double A, let's talk.
Yeah, we should most definitely talk, man. Fucking, but Miami is possibly one of, aside from Japan and South America and places like that, Miami is one of the worst places to do an outdoor show in the middle of the fucking summer. Like, you just cannot get away from the shit. I
don't know who would go to an outdoor show in the summer.
They happen,
Or
dude.
anywhere.
They happen all over. Dude, I shot fucking oh, what the
Blink
hell?
182.
What up, Bobby?
What up, Bubby?
Most people ask what the cover charge is for like a show in Florida. I'm asking what they set the AC at.
Bro, what is that shed down in Miami? And maybe it isn't quite totally in Miami. Fuck, I'd have to ask my friend Ryan. There's a shed down near Miami that is a fucking brutal spot. We would do a lot of House of Blueses down there too, by the way. Those are indoors and those are nice as far as like, yeah, you get AC. But they're kind of shitty to get in and out of. But anyways, the fucking outdoor gig in Miami. I also did a shoot with fucking a VH1 or MTV shoot on the beach in Miami. In the middle of summer. It was fucking annihilating. It was, they had runway models. What the hell was that? They would do it on one of them too. They'd have runway models. What the hell?
Fashionably loud?
No, before that. Pretty sure. God damn it. No, not Fashion Week. It was dude, I played there. I was with an artist and the other band was Filter.
Yeah, I remember you posting it.
And it was literally, they built a triangular runway on the beach, and we were in the pit, in the middle of the fucking thing, and there were models going by, and we were playing, and they shot it, and it went live.
Was it like when Filter just
yeah, it was back in the day. It was in the 90s.
Yeah.
It would have been like...
Was it Simon Says?
No, it would have been like Nice Shot. Fucking... Yeah, it would have been Nice Shot. Like back then, 98 maybe?
Yeah.
99?
Yeah.
Is that Simon Says? I don't remember.
That was with them was Simon Says because they were.
No, it was Filters. No, it was Filter and me, with the band I was with, but I'm not.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But doing that shit, what happened? What's going on here? Oh, is that over? Oh shit.
Don't. Pit Toolbox.
Pit Toolbox. Hey, I mean, yo, those fucking algorithms are working, right? Look at that shit. We were talking about Pit Toolbox, and that shit comes up. Is YouTube fucking listening to us, bro? What is going on? They heard.
How it works.
I mean, between that and the sex bots. Every time.
Did they attack tonight?
No, not tonight. Not yet. But now that I mentioned it.
Yeah, here they come.
We'll go by and then
yeah, they coming now.
It's funny as fuck.
Dude, what the fuck?
Oh fuck.
I'm convinced it's gotta be this flight controller.
Bubby, if the sex bots show up in the chat, just cover your ears for a second. We'll get rid of them.
I think YouTube is listening to us though, because we say keywords and nothing shows up.
You know what? I know, Double A. You know, the thing is like, I don't have my AMA or any of that shit right now. And I didn't want to have to deal with all of it. I couldn't. Not for one fucking event, to be honest.
I mean, as long as you're on 25 milliwatts, nobody will know.
I know I could, yeah. I just like to do things. Wouldn't want to get my 10-inch hammered.
Still scarred from that.
Do you remember what year was that with the great hammer debacle?
2016, I think.
Was it that early? Was it? Might have been
16 or 17, something like that.
As fuck.
I knew it was 16 or 17. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. All right, so what year was the Rampage that we went to? 2017, right? Or 16?
2018.
Was it 18?
I believe it was 18.
Because I thought it happened right around Rampage. I thought it was like that year. Or was it before it? No, it was that year. It had to have been. It had to have been after Rampage that year.
Maybe it was.
Yeah. Fucking the great hammer debacle. That shit. Talk about. That was the shit that polarized FPV pilots then. Now it's analog and digital.
Now it's just digital companies and their
and then there was always Trappy polarizing somebody apparently. Oh fuck! You can get the $21 one. I don't like giving my AMA. I mean, bro, if they did something, I would have no problems really supporting them. You know what I'm saying? 2017 was the hammer. Okay. So when was Rampage? You sure Rampage was in 2017?
It was in 18.
I don't remember, man. I am the worst person to ask.
Right, IO 2017.
Word. Okay. 2017 it was. Holy shit.
Fucking hell. Yeah, I know.
That's fucking crazy.
All right.
2022? Is that what y'all are telling me right now?
We know.
Back when we learned not to over tighten our gummies.
I wasn't
Everything
around
was
yet.
soft mounted.
I love Trappy too, bro. I'm rocking my 99. I'm fucking representing. I'm fanboying tonight. Fucking.
Yeah, but do you have?
Dude, I still had 99 the whole time. My
Rampage
shit
was
was
18.
like,
Okay.
But do you
So-
have one of these? You gotta have one of these. You gotta be official, bro. TBS card holder.
All right, dude. We gotta shut this thing
I
down.
got a grinder. You got a
Yeah.
grinder?
I got to go.
Who's got a TBS grinder? We'll go. We're gonna shut it
All
down.
right.
We love you.
I've got a job interview in the morning.
Oh, nice.
What?
nice.
Hey,
Good luck.
man. You got
Yeah.
this.
I have a job in the
Thanks.
morning.
Yeah, I took the next 2 days off, and I've got 4 job interviews.
Holy shit.
Nice.
Go get them.
I'm hitting the ground hard. I need to get on first shift.
Imagine you get hired on all 4.
Oh man, no.
Yeah. I've also been doing some job searching, and I got an offer, but it's not enough. So I'm continuing.
You out of here already?
Yeah, dude. I guess
Go.
to bounce. Love you, boys.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, man.
Right, shout you out. Take it easy. Have a good week.
You.
007 is my grinder. I have 187. Crappy kept 420 from the first run. I got 187. You got 007. I don't know who got 69. I've seen it though. It was out there.
Sainted.
Sainted.
She did.
Yeah, I figured best thing for me to do with an interview in the morning is to drink some beers.
Yo, not for nothing. Just like it's a weird, very weird thing, but just don't care.
Yeah, actually, the one that I have in the morning, I don't care. Like, it's the one I want the least.
It's and then if they, if you get to the point where you have to negotiate, like ask for the stars. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that's why it's the one I want the least. Is they're actually offering me $5 an hour less, but it's a 4-day work week and first shift. So that's why it's like, maybe. But then everything else is first shift, 5 days a week.
Do like that Better Call Saul where they hire you and then you walk out and come back in a few minutes later.
We're
Like,
glad you stopped
are you
by.
nuts? Why would you hire me? You don't even know me.
Yeah.
I could be a murderer.
You
I get to watch that show.
I don't know, yeah, because I mean, bro, I've been freelancer working, I would get hired basically contractually with the bands and shit, and or just generally a freelance most of my life, But I was like, with all the shit that's happened over the last couple of years, like, maybe I've been checking out some broadcast jobs, shit like that, and just starting to fucking get out there. I hadn't interviewed in ages, bro. Like, normally somebody's like, I find out somebody needs something.
Interviews.
Somebody needs something done, right? There's a gig. We need this gig done. Okay, here's my resume, and I can do that gig. Okay, what do you charge? I charge this. Okay, sometimes you fucking negotiate a hair, but generally not. It's usually like, okay, and then you just go do the gig and you get paid, and then you do it again. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's I don't know who's bottom left on your screen.
It's been like
It might be Waldo.
Perry.
Waldo or
My
Perry?
dad pen.
Oh yeah,
There it is.
he's talking about me.
Yeah,
Perry Earl.
Hurry.
Perry Earl.
Hurry.
But yeah, it's nice to not really have to. I hate negotiating. That's my I hate negotiating. It's like the thing I hate the most about all of this bullshit.
Yeah,
Seriously.
same. Yeah, I haven't interviewed in like 4 or 5 years, something like that. So I'm gonna, like I said, the one tomorrow is the one I care the least about. So I'm gonna use that to like get the nerves out and
Yeah,
settle into
practice is good, bro. And like, and honestly, like, fucking yeah, it's worth it to stick to your guns because you don't know how many times I've stuck to my guns throughout my career and gotten good money because I did, and sometimes you just have to not give a fuck because sometimes you have to realize like one time I picked up just doing extra work on a tour. And like he was like, how about an extra 1,000 a week? And I was like, no, it's got to be at least 1,500. He's like, well, how you figure? And I said, because you're gonna fucking save that on hotel and per diem, bro.
Yeah.
And he was just like, and just shook my hand and gave me exactly what I asked to do the gig. You know what I mean? And it's like, so just stick to it. Know what you're doing. Know what you're bidding on, or whatever, and fucking stick to it. But yeah, like, I'm trying to decide where I want to go. Like, seriously, like, where do I actually want to go next? I've been a lot of different places now. It's like, fuck. I don't know where
really, the one that I want is this welder position because it's like a straight apprenticeship. And then if I get through that and get journeyman and all that, like, I can fucking go anywhere.
Yeah, and sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it'll take less money if you definitely are gonna get that. You know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah, that one will be more money than I'm making now. So like, that's why that's the one that I want. First shift,
that's even
more
gravy.
money that I'm getting now.
If you can get positioned to advance and learn and come away with something, you're growing with it, and you're fucking getting money. That's gravy,
Plus, I just want to melt shit.
I used to weld. That's how I put myself through. That's how I put myself through electronics school, bro. I worked in a shop, fucking welding and grinding and polishing thermal sensors, thermocouples. We would make thermocouples and build the housings. We would weld. You used to have to weld on a turret. It was like a turntable, and you would run pipe through it, and you would run all the, and then you would weld the pipes and weld discs on, like have a hole, you'd drill a hole through a disc and put the pipe through it, and then weld it on both sides, and then have to polish it down and shit, like grind it down and polish it. That's how I put myself through school. Was doing that shit. It's good to know.
Thought it was a corner.
Only when I had to pick up your mom.
Hey yo.
That makes sense.
Rat says he's moving down by you, Perry.
Right on. We got plenty of heat and alligators and mountains for you.
Mountain gators, bro.
Mountain gators.
And then don't forget your
lots of Spanish moss, plenty to go around.
Spanish moss.
It'll be much easier to tune a quad, the lower elevation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will, however, have to get yourself some shorts and
flip-flops. I mean, I would wear those in Colorado anyway, but
and be able to say wepa at chemo.
Wepa.
That's it. You from Florida? That's it. That's what I'm looking for.
That's it.
Oh,
you from West Palm? That's it.
Double A. I've been to IO twice and we've met.
I think he means you should work it, like build stuff.
Oh.
He's wants to get people to like build.
So
cool stuff
that's
for
where
it.
where we met was Rampage building the fucking shit out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I met Artie.
That
was
that's
fucking...
where at IO is where I met 608. He was volunteering.
I met all you guys right here.
I'm higher. The funny thing about it, I always say to myself, the time I was in Florida, I should have spoken to you guys more because I was not that far from you guys when I was down there. I just didn't bother you guys. I just flew my couple of packs and I just left.
I'm usually so busy. Like, I'm surprised I was able to get out and fly with Solo when he came down. Like, usually if I'm flying, it's just ripping that spot next to my house or the elementary school up the street. I hardly ever get out with a bunch of people and fly.
I've only gotten out and flown with somebody twice since I've been out here.
Damn.
I've flown in the backyard or whatever, but like, Maddie and I went to Detroit. So I like totally got out of here and went to Detroit and flew with people.
I usually fly with people more when I'm out of state because just people on the Discord and stuff like that. Oh yeah, well so and so lives over there. Hit him up, and so then I'll end up going out with 2 or 3 people or something, or just one guy. Yeah, let's meet here. This is a cool spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this next year I'm gonna try and get out more. This year was pretty rough for me.
Last 2 years sucked. Oh, hey, speak of the devil, King Turkey, what's up, mate? That's actually, yeah, King Turkey and I went out flying here when he was out here near where I'm at, and that was the only time I've actually ventured out, like away from here. I just ripped the five. I have barely flown the 10s, man. It sucks. I fly the 5s and shit in the backyard here.
I've been out with people twice this year.
Yeah.
Twice.
I flew with Ciotti last time I was up here in Atlanta a couple of years ago. I didn't know him from anywhere, just seen him, his videos and stuff and live streams. And I just DM'd him on Instagram. It was like, dude, I heard you were in Atlanta. I'm up here. Can we get together and fly? And he was super cool. Like, yeah, man, let's go hit this spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, just message people. I talk to like everybody because like this community is so easy to talk to and shit. Mm-hmm. Like if you're gonna go somewhere, just hit somebody up.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw some of the footage of Min Chen. That shit was pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid's good. Mm-hmm. That'd be pretty amazing. I wanted to come over and just film. I was trying to hook up with Hit the Deck, but like I didn't have any way over there. It's like Muncie's about an hour from me, basically. But I just had like
too bad.
Nah, I just had no way to go. Like me and all my shit over there. Nobody else was around, so.
Yeah, about how far it is from here to I think Darkwing Duck. It's about an hour from me.
There's a lot of ducks on the East Coast.
Yeah. There is.
Sure.
We fly together.
There's a lot of quacks on the East Coast.
Mallard Coast.
Like I said, I just want to see, Double A, while you're in the chat, I just want to see MultiGP do a macro class.
They do.
No, they do X class.
Oh, yeah.
They do not do macro. That's I've been asking people, everybody I know, anytime there's like somebody's part of MultiGP and any, like, dude, we need to get macro going. Like X class is there. They've got some other shit. And I mean, I don't know if there was any limits.
Wings.
I don't know that there was any limitations on the freestyle tent. Like,
no.
But I want to race my 10s. Like, at least one of them. I want to race one of my 10-inch.
Dude, last year,
Medi specifics on the different classes, like X class.
X class is it's a minimum wheel. X class is there's a minimum wheel size of I think like, God, is it 800, 600 or 800? I can't remember exactly what it is. There's a minimum wheelbase. And most macros are like my 10s are 400 and 500, 400 to 500 on average. A couple of the beast macros get up to like 590, 630. You know what I mean? But like most of the macro class is sub 600. And which is below what they do. Yeah, well, the mega classes, I'd have to pull up the MGP, the MultiGP specs. Mega is X class, bro. Like, comparatively. So everybody thinks, like, when somebody says they fly a 10-inch, that it's some ginormous thing, and, like, yeah, the 10s they're beastly machines, but they're not X class, and that's how MultiGP creates classes. They have certain specs, power spec, wheelbase and pitch, prop size, shit like that. I'd love to see a 910, like 400 to 500 class, like 910 inch. You know what I mean? Fucking right around there. I really
those the X class is really cool to watch race because like as
Mhm.
soon as they land and those motors are hot as fuck,
Mhm.
you got like 4 guys running over with like the compressed air cans,
Yeah.
spraying the motors to cool them off right away and shit, and they're just fucking pissing steam everywhere. It was awesome.
Those KO motors are designed to run that way. Like there's some of the X class motors are specifically designed to use cryo fuel basically, like on them. Yeah, so you can run them super crazy hot.
Yeah, it was just cool as shit to see though, like all those cans just getting sprayed right on the fucking motors, and yeah, that shit was awesome to watch.
You know what? That's interesting. What is
they had a wing track there too. That was pretty cool to see.
That's cool. Multi GP.
Oh yeah, and yeah, there was no limitations at the freestyle tent. Last year Matty Blunts pulled up and set up his own pink table that had everything from like a 2.5 inch to a 10-inch on it.
So the mega class is 800 to 1050. That's the wheelbase, your frame size. Weight, it's TBD. Class specifications. If you go to class specifications, and it's cool if they potentially allow some more shit to happen. But I remember one year somebody brought a fucking macro out and they wouldn't let them fly it. Like in the races or anything. Like I don't even know if they let them fly it. Because that year I don't think they had a freestyle tent that year. So,
at IO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double A would... But, yeah, so if you look at look at Mega, it's 800 to 1050. Open class is 305 max. So like the one frame that I want to run is 405. So I'm 100 millimeters too big for open class.
Yeah, so Hit the Deck ran the freestyle tent. The past 2 years?
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just love to see MultiGP do something for that class because I think the macro racing would be killer. I really do. I think it'd be fucking cool because they're such beastly. Like X class is just, it's cool and it's really nice to see because they're huge. But there's something about macro, like the way macro is made. They're just fucking little muscle cars. It'd be amazing. They would crash well.
What Beast?
Beast. Well, so like what Beast was technically basically started was people were taking 12S X class rigs and just because X class if you look at almost every X class build that's 800 and up, they're tube arms, right? So you got a fuselage and then you have tubes to give you the size, and then your motor mounts and shit are out on the end of the arms, right? But what Beast initially was is they just cut them down to like a normal size, like, you know, like that's how macro quads are. Like if you look at like my purpose-built design macro frame, it looks like a 5-inch that is literally just is proportionally twice as big, right? But X class was just this crazy thing. They just made really long arms with tubes, right? So what they did initially is Beast was they literally lost all the bullshit and just cut the arms down and just made like a proportionally correct 12S quad or 10S or whatever it was, 8S, you know. That was originally what, but then with the macro guys, especially like Stefan at Stand-In Design, he's made a couple quads that are like 490, 590 that are designed to run like 12 and 13, but they're all carbon plate arms, you know, 10 millimeter thick arm systems, crazy shit at least. But they're designed to swing like a fucking 12, 13 inch prop. You can run it on 12S. It's just a monster. It's a fucking monster. And it's literally proportionally just scaled up, not crazy big. Just a beast of a fucking quad that can run crazy setups. Steam was stuck in the power line in 18. What?
All right, gentlemen, I can't hang on anymore.
All good.
Too late.
Yeah, we're about done. We're done anyways. Yeah. Get there.
Good night, Greg.
Yeah, you look like you're falling
Good
asleep.
night, guys. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night,
Be
brother.
swift.
Same here, bro. This fucking chair is killing me. That's what
Quack.
I'm gonna say buenos nachos.
I still have to pack all this shit up, so good night. It's all good.
Buenos
Good
nachos.
night, guys.
Hey, man.
I was just digging talking to Double A, but fucking East class. Hot
Yeah,
rod
that's what we were
rigs.
talking about was the
Yeah, well, some of these, like, you know, unfortunately, the Patriot. I think the Patriot became open source now. Who was making that? It wasn't Catalyst. It was oh damn it. Who was making Mayday Quadworks? That his frame. He made a cool like 9-inch racing frame, and it doesn't. You could put a GoPro on it and shit. But it was a 9-inch, basically racing frame. Really dope, dude. And like, and it's and I believe they might have went out of business or closed shop, but they open sourced the design so you could have them cut. If you want to get it one, but they don't have. They're not being produced like normally any longer. But there's a lot of cool frames that are, like I said, 9-10 inch. It would be rad to see race. You know what I mean? And I always
Double A. We were talking about Beast Class. I was asking him what the difference was between that and like a.
Yeah, I mean, technically, you could build out. You know, many people would consider a 10-inch at 12 running 12S beast. You know what I mean? A lot of guys though went crazy, really, you know, 42, 52 XX motors running 12S, like monster motors, you know. And like I said, there's the one company that primarily caters to the really insane frames in those size ranges, the stand-in designs, and you're gonna drop $300-400 on a frame, but man, it's gonna be a fucking piece of work, like a piece of art, you know, and just it's really amazing.
Did you see that?
Good night, A-Tech. Say what?
You see that picture Maddie posted of his 5-inch 12S the other day? I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. That thing's insane.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
God, it looks like it's got, you know, those little tiny whoop chargers that just plug into a USB thing that have the six. It looks like it's got those on the arms that are holding the caps. Like it's just these giant freaking things on all 4 arms holding the caps. The 3D prints on the top and the bottom.
The thing's got to be like a labor of love for sure.
I told him it looks like it's been working out. It's freaking buff.
I would be scared.
Freaking 7-inch. Yeah, you know, well, I have to try to. I'm hoping I can make it over to IO at some point. I'll have to come over there sometime with those my rigs to see if they'll let me run them. I would imagine though the 7-inch is under 305 millimeters, so it was probably allowed under open class spec, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I really want to build. I really would love to build a fucking 12S, like 10 inch. Like, Brother Hobbies dropped a 400 some kV motor that's the same size as what I currently run. So I could literally, if I get the powertrain for it, I could literally use the same frame I have and build it out as 12S. Which would be insane. Fucking really insane. Blowing shit up.
I'd just be happy having another 5-inch again, so that when one craps the bed, I've got a backup.
Are you're on that one quad life right now?
Yeah. My other one's just an FC down right now, so it's not too bad. I just haven't taken the time to do it.
Dude, I'm super grateful I got my 6-inch back in the air, and I have my 5-inch. Like, I can't. It's not practical for me to fly the 10s around where I'm at right now, unless I can get out somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, I was looking at your area on Google Maps, and you got like one park by you.
Yeah, a lot of cornfields and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing around me, bro. It sucks. Like, yeah. couple fields. Like so, we're King Turkey and I went out to this spot. It was a bunch of field spots, but it was nice to get out, stretch the legs. Yeah.
The cornfields would be nice for that as long as you didn't have to do the walk of shame.
You go down in one of the motherfuckers, and if you don't have a fucking hellfire or something, you're in trouble.
I had a buddy lose a quad in a fucking soybean field.
Well, that's why the whole Hammergate happened, because somebody fucking powered up a quad during a run, and some dude lost video. His quad went into the fucking cornfield and was never heard or seen from again at that time.
Well,
and
the dude that plugged in on him was warned multiple times to like lower his shit to 25 milliwatts, and he was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, I guess the only thing worse would be like if your quad caught fire because it crashed hard in the middle of the cornfield, and you just burnt up somebody's shit.
Yeah.
I did have a quad start on fire at IO last year, but it didn't burn anything but my finger, so.
I had one burn up in Baltimore at the bottom of a building one night with all those guys.
Yeah, I really was hoping to make it over there this year, to be honest. I would have been happy if I would have just been able to get over there. I would have been happy to fucking just take my camera rig and just film the fucking insanity. You know what I mean? Get mad B-roll. Like, it'd be awesome.
My fire was 100% my fault. Shitty solder joint and like a battery lead or the cap or something came off, and the positive touched the frame, and
jeez,
done.
It's like in the middle of the freestyle contest, and I went down. I went to go grab it to flip it over real quick to like keep going, and when I grabbed the quad, it burned the shit out of my finger. It's like, yeah, no, I'm done. That was the first time I've had that happen. It's like the only thing that was still good was the frame. It was a banger.
There's nothing better when you crash into the ground at maximum speed and the quad just bursts into flames.
That's pretty much
all
what
you have
happened to
left
mine.
is
It was
carbon.
Like, what is the term when you reach the maximum velocity of
terminal
gravity?
velocity.
Terminal velocity. Yeah, it was terminal velocity right into the friggin' concrete. Because it was probably from a couple 100 feet up.
The old lawn dart.
Those are great in springtime.
Fucking lawn darts. Yeah, that was the thing, right? Like a month and a half ago, every time I flew, my quad came back covered in mud. You're like, ugh.
Oh, mine's covered in freaking grass shavings and stuff now. Can't see it. Oh, you almost could see it. Nope. Filthy.
Yeah, that was actually the other thing, AA. I wanted to come over and actually film that shit, but I was like, if I don't have a fucking golf cart to lug my gear around, is not gonna work. Like, or something, like some way to get my shit around out there.
Yeah, and them golf cart rentals are fucking expensive.
Yeah, you need to score one and bring it with you or something. Have it delivered from a third party.
Like, if you do it right, you can do IO for completely free, like, besides food, but yeah, cart rental, I think it's like, starts at like $200 or some shit.
Dude, it's the worst. That's the only downside of flying big quads is they take big batteries that weigh a lot of fucking weigh a lot. Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, like camping there is free. And last year I just grabbed a pillow and a blanket and brought it with me and slept in the back of my car.
Word.
Yeah, I really wanted to come through. Maybe next year.
Get like a little mini bike to ride around from spot to spot.
Like, I was hoping somebody was gonna come. Like, I was hoping somebody was coming through. Like, you know, that would like just swooped through and grabbed me. I was like, I have tents, camping gear, coolers, all the shit, right here.
You could have probably grabbed a ride with Derek Brown because he flew in from Oregon and he was looking for somebody to split an Uber with from Indy to Io.
An Uber to fucking Muncie?
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? An hour-long Uber.
Yeah, you'd need that. Yeah, you need to just rent a car.
Yeah.
Fucking, it'd be so much more. I think an Uber, insane.
Yeah, especially if they start tacking on all the stupid extra charges that they do.
Yeah, like it's not too bad for me. It's only like a 4 or 5 hour drive, so that's not too bad.
We were looking at that to go from downtown New Orleans back to the airport when my wife and I were up there, and it was cheaper to take a regular cab than it would have been to take an Uber or a Lyft with all the extra fees and stuff that they tack on.
I mean, NYC wasn't generally too bad, to be fair. I mean, but it all depends. Because, like, God, if you fly in NYC at all, like, just the airport fees are, you know what I mean? Like, just to get in and out of the airport, they tax you. But yellows in the city were generally cheaper, but the convenience of an Uber was hard to beat. And the difference wasn't, for the longest time, the difference wasn't that much. Like an $8 cab ride you might get for 10 or 12 maybe in Uber. Wasn't crazy.
Sorry, I'm fighting with the cat over here. I recently found out he likes to eat TPU.
That's probably not good.
He's a little fucking asshole.
I
had to clean my whole desk area to make room for him and bought him this fucking bed and shit. Otherwise, he lays on my keyboard.
You wake up and you have a Word document that's just like 7,000 semicolons.
Your computer blue screened of death because it just ran out of memory from all the fucking shit.
It just pissed me off today because I was like, before work, I was trying to rebuild that quad and figure out what the problem with the receiver was and watch Kenobi on the computer. And he comes and lays down on the fucking keyboard and pauses the movie or the show and like lays on top of my quad. Like, get out of here, man.
I gotta go finish watching Doctor Strange, or try to.
That Kenobi.
Oh, you didn't see Doctor Strange in the theaters?
No.
Oh.
No, I saw Spider-Man, but I did not see Doctor Strange.
I thought it was pretty good, but I was one of those idiots that set the expectations for it too high.
I have no expectations.
Yeah, I went into it expecting them to introduce Wolverine and like all the X-Men and this and that. Like they did do a great job with it, but I set my expectations way too high.
Yeah. I actually tend to keep my expectations low with all these things, because some things are hit. Look, because I mean, some of the movies were low. Like, I definitely didn't like some of them as much.
Like Eternals.
Yeah, Eternals was meh. I didn't have any expectations for it, so I wasn't really disappointed. But I like zero. I hoped Morbius was gonna be better.
I will not watch that till it's free. I watched Ricky Berwick played it at like 18 times the speed so that it took a minute to watch it, and I was satisfied. It's like, yeah, I got what I expected out of that. Thank you for only wasting a minute of my life watching it.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, you could tell what happened.
I happened to watch it because my family decided to rent it. I was like, all right.
The last movie I rented was 1987's Running Man.
The Running Man. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like 2
Who
nights ago.
loves you and who do you love?
That's why I watched it. That came up at work the other day, and I was like, I'm watching this.
What was that? What was the like mid to late '90s techno group that sampled a bunch of stuff from that movie?
Front 242 or Frontline Assembly? Or wait,
No, I think it was Prodigy. Yeah, it was Prodigy from their album The Experience, or The Prodigy Experience.
Mhm.
They sampled a bunch of stuff from that.
A bunch of people did at the time.
That and like Thunderdome. Yeah, they had the Thunderdome with the crowd.
Front 242 used a bunch. Trying to think who else was out there. Yeah, there's a few. Arnold classic.
Yeah. I was the only person at work that knew it.
Yo,
They
actually,
had one track that just like repeated over and over again. You're killing your mother. You're killing your mother.
I've always got like Requiem for a Dream stuck in my head with Juice by Sarah, Juice by Sarah. Whoa, Sarah. I don't remember if like somebody's got that in a song, but it's always stuck in my fucking head.
Yeah, this was Prodigy back when they were just like straight up techno, like rave techno.
yeah.
God.
Before they like changed.
Classic.
I remember there was some pretty cool stuff on that CD. I used to play it a lot.
All the shit I grew up with.
That was like my first and probably only like straight techno CD that I had.
There was a lot of
a guitar player that I played with at the time.
There's a lot of stuff back then, like Nits the Reb and like I said, 242, Frontline Assembly. There was a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to think when in comparison. The one thing I didn't like about Prodigy at the time, because I was really heavy into like a lot of breakbeat stuff, and like they bit heavily off the drum and bass scene back then, and it was a little bit like a lot of us were really like, what the fuck? You know, I mean, it's cool, but it's like you're like, I don't know, you know. There was a lot of fucking, yeah. I would just say they borrowed heavily from the breakbeat scene back, the DJ reg scene back then. Yeah, like, and so some people like kind of took offense, but some people were just more like kind of like, okay, what the fuck, but yeah, I ultimately loved the Prodigy. Gone in 60 Seconds.
Is that a remake?
The 1974 first.
That was a remake. I had no idea.
Really?
Real stunt classes.
74 Gone. I gotta look that up now.
Yeah.
That was
it like a Steve McQueen movie?
That was made the year after I was born.
I just typed in 1974 space G in Google, and that's what popped up. It was 1974 Gone in 60 Seconds.
Crazy.
Cool. I have not watched that. Can't say that I have.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
I didn't either. Wow.
I thought it was like Fight Club.
Just don't talk about it.
It's gotta be, because I've never heard of it. James McIntyre, George Cole. I don't know any of these actors or actresses.
Steve McQueen's not in it though? Or Yul Brynner? If you say no, then I'm not interested.
Whoa.
I don't think I see now.
Yul Brynner.
Englehart, Anthony Cole, Sam Yamamoto as Self.
Who played Tony the Blade?
Tony the Blade. So a lot of these are as self. There's just a couple. Oh, they have a trailer.
But that original inspired like Cannonball Run and shit. With Jackie Chan and Jaws and the fucking Plymouth fucking Conquest. My buddy had one of those and we were going like 150 and melted a piston. It was fucking insane. Oh shit, what's up, Gravy?
Oh shit.
What? Gravy.
What up, bud? Gravy
What
in the
is
house.
going
I'm about to
on?
fall asleep. My damn so I'm about to pull an Artie.
That Gravy used to be the first one to leave. Now he's the last
I know,
one
he's
to
like,
show
bye.
up.
And he's like, hello. Hello, hi, bye.
His work schedule like changed or something there for a while, didn't it? Like super drastic.
Gravies? Yeah.
Yeah.
Life.
Sure, double A. If I make it down next year and Chad needs a ride, I'll bring him.
I love you, Gravy.
If you haven't seen Matt's streams of like fuck, what game is that now? I don't remember. But he streams games and it's fucking hilarious.
Wait, who? What? Oh, Gravy?
Yeah.
What is he? What is he? I saw. Well, he was streaming Elden Ring at one point. Wasn't he?
Yeah, Elden Ring. Yeah. Catch those
fuck.
every time I can.
Yeah, actually, it's funny, Gravy, because I was like, we just happened to just sit here bullshitting after we were like done, but we were just like, yeah, fuck it, we're just gonna sit here and bullshit for a little bit. But yeah, I think it is about that time. To be fair.
I should probably eat to soak up this alcohol and sober up a little bit before my interview tomorrow.
Well, good luck. Regardless,
You gonna go to sleep or just
good luck.
ride it out?
Good practice.
Oh, I'm gonna ride it out, man. I'm gonna be up till at least another hour.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a job I don't give a fuck about. So
True. That's cool.
Good though. Good though, Gravy. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, it's about time for them credits.
yeah.
As the stream comes to a slow halt.
Y'all fucking have a great week. Be safe. Send it. Get out there and have some fun. You gonna stream Sekiro next? Oh shit. Sekiro's
Thanks,
a good
man.
game. It's definitely Sekiro's possibly, yeah, technically the hardest, I think, of all the Souls-like
I'm gonna
shit.
stream Sudoku.
What is that? What is that game? Wordle.
Put 3 in the corner.
I'm gonna
Start with 3 in the corner.
I'm gonna fucking stream some Wordle, y'all.
Stream some Minesweeper.
Wait, somebody should find the most inane like fucking game and start streaming that shit, bro.
Old King's Quest. Like 1
Zork.
original.
I'm gonna stream some Zork, bro.
Stream some Colossal Cave Adventure.
We have to fucking
adventure game.
capture the fucking monochrome green word processor screen for doing some Zork. Some word game shit.
Oregon Trail.
I'm playing it.
Yeah, roll them credits. I want to see that shit.
All right, we love you guys. You guys have a great week. We will see you next week with CJ FPV coming in for an interview. It'd be a good show. So
Yeah, I can't wait for that one.
get in there,
monster
be there,
trucks.
be square. Yeah, lots of cool talk about monster trucks.
Dude, he gets in there.
He
too,
does.
Like
So does
like-
Waldo. Wait till you see.
I'm gonna be watching his shit because this Saturday I'm chasing monster trucks. So
Right on.
it's gonna
There's
be
actually
awesome.
in the Pilot of the Week video. There's also he was chasing some longboarders down a track. You watch that one?
Yeah.
That's a dope video. There's some good video in
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So next week, CJFPV. Don't miss it. We love you, and we'll see you then. Bye. I could do a fucking split at. I could do a fucking split at. Done a million times. I could do a fucking split at. You pop out, and then roll. Then you, that is a split at. Fucking split at. I could do a fucking split at. You pop out, and then roll.
I mean,
Pop it. You roll.
I don't buy
And
into
then
whatever
you go
fucking
in
bullshit you're saying.
to the shit. Powerly, blind, powerly, then, powerly, blind, powerly, then. I could do a fucking split at. Roll, then you, that is split at. Fucking split at. I could do a fucking split at. You pop out, and then roll.
I mean,
Pop it.
That's pretty much the only trick that I know.
You guys.
Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight.